peers, trying to keep up with my peers.
So are they going to have so is there like a ceremony or something where you're going to receive it, or is it just kind of like an acknowledgement?
On Juneteenth, we're going to have it. They're going to have a June 20th, actually, at Covington Landing. We're having a ceremony from 12 to 6. We've got bingo. We've got some spoken word. We got some poetry. We got some stuff going on that day. So it's good. But there's several of us being recognized.
Did you say 12 to 6?
12 p.m. to 6.
Oh, that's too long, bro. You need to tell me what the precise time is. Like, is there like an hour window?
Yeah. Okay.
I ain't doing.
From 12 till 2, they're having mine will probably be about 1:15, and then they have bingo. I mean, it's an all day thing. Okay. But it's a Northern Kentucky's Juneteenth celebration. They're crowning a Miss Juneteenth and Mr. Juneteenth and all that kind of stuff too. So it's going to be a really nice thing. Bingo, spoken word, open mic. We got some performers going on. Yeah.
Is it the kind of thing where, like, you'll be presented up on the stage and people will clap?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I need to know.
Yes. See, and I'll give you precise time. I'll give you precise times for that.
All right.
I was getting on here early so I could get I can accept my defeat, if you will, from Thomas Massey, because I have no clue, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but ever since the election in 2019, when Andy Beshear beat Matt Bevins, that was the start of some things that happened. But I can't understand, or maybe you guys are right. Maybe MAGA is more powerful than what we give it credit for. Because I never in a million years Kentucky was viable, and they bought it.
Really, man. See now you see. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. MAGA is extremely powerful, and Trump is extremely powerful with his base, and that's those primary voters. That's Trump's base. That's them. Those are the people who like everything's gone down. What are you talking about? It was higher under Biden, and they really believe that. So
I believe there's also APAC money that's too.
Yeah, but a lot of people still don't understand what that means. A lot of people don't understand what that means. They don't understand. They're like, what's the big deal?
Yeah, I had a dude break it down to me. He sent me a letter to the editor of the Inquirer, and he was basically like, y'all just don't understand that the base don't see Trump the same way that we do. Like, they see him in terms of what he's doing with the border and everything else. And you can talk about the corruption and all of that. They don't see it. They don't believe it. Right. And that's say what you will about it, disagree with it, hate it, say they stupid, whatever. That's the reality. They just don't see that man the same way that everybody else does. And that's what you're gonna get in those primaries.
And I'm not apologizing here. I'm just manning up, so to speak, because I didn't think. I've talked for a long time that Kentucky is different. Kentucky's going to stand by Thomas Massey. Kentucky's going to do this, and they did the complete opposite, all the way around.
They did. Maybe that's one way of looking at it. But Trump is very. I've been saying it for years, man. I was never the type of person that ridiculed Trump because I could see how, things could go. And then you got to just recognize game. I'm like, listen, he's got a real connection with people. People feel emotionally about him. And you just can't discount that.
Elon Musk money.
You should not discount that by just saying they're uneducated or, something's wrong with them. Or even in some cases, they're racist. Because there's some Trump supporters who you cannot tell them that they're racist. They don't believe they're racist. Nothing you can do in the world convince them that they're racist. Not in their mind. So,
or that racism exists.
Peter Thiel and
or that it exists.
Elon Musk poured $35 million and counting into a primary in Kentucky to unseat a primary in Kentucky. That's insane. That's the most money spent in political history to de-seat somebody in a primary.
Uh-oh. You're talking to the right person, because Damon had a lot to talk about during the campaign. So I know that's a hot topic for a lot of people. But again, I don't think a lot of people understand. Hey, Alandes, my bad. I thought I put it in the doc, but I'll send it to you via email. Is that what you need? I'll send it to you via email. Give me 1 second.
But I can't discount, like, because Act Blue is no different than what AIPAC does. So it's one hand is feeding one hand, and Act Blue is feeding the other. So if an Act Blue candidate was to get well funded and the amount of funding that they would need for, if let's say the Soroses would say, okay, we're going to have favor over this particular person, and we're going to fund your political account with unlimited bank accounts. You have millions and millions of dollars. That person would have more of a chance than someone who is grassroots going and getting $15 donations from whoever their constituency might be, because you just can't outspend them. Even Massey, I went to a Massey thing, and he said they spent 30 million, he spent 15. With his base, you think that would work, but it didn't.
No, I've been trying to tell you since we met. You have an improper understanding of what Act Blue is. Act Blue is just a vehicle. They take 2% of everything that comes in. That's not the same as a PAC. It's just a vehicle to accept donations. It's just software.
Act Blue is a PAC. Act Blue is a political action commit. Act Blue is definitely a PAC. They have to register with the election committee. I can't think the name escapes me, but if you're involved in politics, you have to be registered. And Act Blue is definitely a vehicle for funding, no different than these MAGA funded political PACs that got Massey out of there. There's no different. Unless someone can. It's the research that I've found that if you're you're a Democratic nominee, your funding from your page, when I podcasted with you, went straight to you. Your funding was straight Act Blue. So let's say George Soros agrees and wants to found favor on you. He would have a fund to be able to funnel as much money as he want to, because you use the funding vehicle as most Democrat candidates use. And to me, I see that.
Whichever vehicle I use, he could have sent me the money, is what I'm saying. Act Blue is just a vehicle. It's just and it's the easiest one. It's the most acceptable. And then there's Win Red. That's on the Republican side. They're the same thing. They're probably owned by the same people. They just collect in their percentage. But then a PAC would be like an AIPAC or a Jewish Democracy PAC or something like that. They collect money from people and then funnel it to a campaign. Act Blue didn't send me any money. They just took money from me, but helped me with my organize the funding and how it came in. And I just don't want you to keep running around saying that, because it's not the best information.
That's not the best information from your palate, from your discernment, from my discernment, from what I see Act Blue do to the Commonwealth of Kentucky and come in here and what they did and who they funded in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. They are a direct PAC. They do PAC stuff. They do PAC stuff. You as a candidate,
it's like Facebook.
Say whatever you want. You as a candidate, you can say this is just a vehicle that I use. But from my experience and my anecdotal experience and what I've seen Act Blue fund, Tamika Mallory and My Son the General and all those people that came to Louisville and ran amok amongst our city, and then as soon as they got their man packed up and moved to the next place and left Louisville in a worse situation when they came, that was all Act Blue money. So I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying as a vehicle, but I'm saying the same vehicle that Act Blue is using is the same AIPAC money that Elon Musk and Peter Thiel just used. $35 million is the same vehicle. It could be a different car. Yeah. You call it a different car. Okay, so they, instead of driving a Cadillac to get the people there, they drove an Audi to get the people there to get the same result. But it's the same thing. You're driving a car. You're using a political organization, or Act Blue, or Rand Paul, or whoever their organization is, who Rand Paul works with.
What vehicle do you use when you ran for what you got? What vehicle did you use to collect the money?
All this, baby. All this.
No, I mean they had to donate the money to you on the internet.
I didn't take no donations. I took 0 donations. I took 0. I did everything with this.
That's a
I did
promo.
everything. Knocking on doors. I knocked on doors. I went to every meeting I could go to. I talked to every.
It's not an indictment of what you did or didn't. I was just wondering if you had a vehicle, right?
I don't. And I will never accept. You know why I wouldn't accept any money? Because the first question I would ask, I'd be like, "I'm pro reparations for blacks, for black American. Do you support that?" Is the first thing that I would say to anybody that wants to give me money. And then when they start jucking and jiving, I ain't taking it.
I got $12 for you. We could get there. Okay, but no, act blue, not quite what you're saying, and you convoluting the conversation with it.
Okay, that's your, like I said, that's from your position. Oh, I'm not going to be on here all day for everybody just for hot mic.
I was just hoping you say something before you roll to piss her off, so I could just see some fireworks.
How you doing?
To piss me off, I'm not gonna get pissed off.
I don't think I got nothing for her right now. I think
I'm glad
we're on the same team.
Oh man.
I think I think I'm more anti-Trump than I've ever been in my life, and I'm willing to step out there and say it a whole lot more. I've always been.
You know what? I got it.
But I've got to play the game because I got future endeavors that I want to do.
We get it. I'm glad you finally said it. But listen, one thing you haven't talked about is how they did your homeboy down there in Kentucky.
Who, Daniel?
Yeah.
Cameron?
Yeah. I mean, you love to talk about how the Democrats left Jasmine Crockett, but you said nothing about how Republicans treated that brother. And he was like soul brother #1 for the Republican cause on so many different levels. And look what happened. Didn't get the endorsement.
Donald Trump.
Why.
Donald Trump. He wasn't the establishment man. It was, I mean, because that in within the side of the Republican Party, I don't see that Daniel didn't get it because of the color of his skin. I seen it that Andy Barr is Trump's guy. He's going to stamp what Trump says to do every single time. Every single time. Daniel might have done it as well, but they chose, just like the Democratic Party chooses the candidates they want, the Greg Landsmans, the people who are going to get along, because this is their chosen person. To not be naive to say that the Republican Party precinct chairs and the executive committees within the Republican Party in these counties, 120 counties in Commonwealth of Kentucky, are some powerful people. Just like the Democratic chairs and the Democratic Party chairs and precinct chairs are powerful people in the Ohio and the Democratic Party in Cincinnati. They choose, like they chose the people who to put on city council in Cincinnati. That's how the Republican Party is no different. If you're the chosen person, they're going to get behind you. That's all it is.
Trump didn't endorse Cameron not because he was black. Trump didn't endorse Cameron because he was a loser. If you remember, Trump did endorse Cameron when he ran against Bashir as governor. And when Cameron lost that was basically it. You know, Trump doesn't get behind. He might get behind you initially, but once you lose, he's done with you. So that was more why Trump didn't get Daniel Cameron's bid. You can't say it was just race because he endorsed him in the governor's race.
I say it wasn't race at all. I don't think it has nothing to do with race at all.
I think it was more Trump labeled him a loser after that. He wasn't gonna get it.
All right, guys, let me
But I
waiting for Brother Dre.
Have a great show today. I'm gonna be tuned in the barbershop. We're gonna be watching and chiming in. I just wanted to admit or lick my wounds on public about Thomas Massey getting beat because I didn't think.
Could you do that one more time? Hold on. I'm gonna make a promo. Hold on. Do that one more time.
I just came on here.
Hold on. Let me make sure we just brother gets the platform that he deserves. There you go. There you go.
I'm on here to publicly disclaim that Kentucky has let the country down by not voting Thomas Massey in. I didn't think it would happen, but it happened. Kentucky, we got to do better. Donald Trump, y'all some bad. Y'all powerful than I thought y'all was. I thought we had y'all, but y'all beat us. That's all I got to say.
That's all you got to say. Oh my God, you are too funny, bro. He said, "That's all I got to say." That's all you have to say, huh?
You're only gonna be in there for 2 more years, so hopefully these 2 more years ain't gonna hurt us and take your extra money and put it in the stock market. That's all I can say, because that's all they care about. That's all the people. If they remedies all, have you looked at the stock market? How's your 401k doing? What's your investments looking like? That's all they care about. And I'll leave y'all alone on that one.
What the hell? I like the old Terrace better. Y'all done messed up Terrace. Alandes is on the show and Terrace is on the show, Terrace does something like this. I mean, it's just that the mystique of a platform. He's learning.
Political usefulness is temporary. And he's learning that, the temporary pieces has actually impacted him and his thoughts. I think we've done a good job with him.
With him?
He's starting to do better.
He's starting to do better.
Just a little, not fully.
Just
so we can't talk about him since he's left, but he's doing better, sound like to me.
All right. Still waiting on Brother Dre to join us, but I'm going to go ahead and put everybody backstage and we'll officially start the show. All right, now we're all in. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to Hot Mic Cincy. Glad to be with you, Nathan Ivey. We got Damon Lynch IV with us. How you doing, bro?
I'm blessed, guys. I'm blessed. Happy to be here.
Good to hear. And Alandes Powell, how are you today, Alandes?
I'm great, thank you.
And Kevin Aldridge, how you doing?
Happy Friday, everybody. Good to see everybody.
Good to see you. Now, we had Brother Dre I thought was scheduled to come on today, but he has some scheduling issues, so he'll try to join us next Friday. So just be the four of us today. It is what it is. Let's get into it. But we've already been here for about, looks like about 19 minutes. So the pre-show, you didn't know, sometimes we start a little early. We just chatted up, nothing different. Let you see the conversation that you couldn't see before. Then we start the show, which is where we are now. But first, let me just say, how is everybody? Alandes, has been a minute. We had the hiatus. We was off for about 4 weeks. Now we're back.
Yep, I've been doing good.
Doing well, okay. And my brother to the south of me had that campaign against Greg Landsman, man. I mean, so what did you learn on the campaign, or anything that you saw? Like, what's the most interesting thing you got from running that campaign, challenging a Democrat in a Democrat sort of area in Cincinnati? Anything you can share with us?
I learned a lot of things after it was over, right? Once I looked at the numbers and saw where I did what I did, I learned a lot of things there. But today, before I even go there, I would have to say we need to do as a community the most amazing job supporting Vanessa Enoch this upcoming race, because as they gerrymandered, since they gerrymandered my district to make it more red, that opened hers up to be more blue. And so she's in the northern part of Hamilton County and Butler County, and I spent some time with her, and we have a roadmap for her to steal a seat, but it'll be up to us and it'll be up to the Democratic Party to support her. And that's what I saw, is that, like Terrace was saying, the Democratic Party picks and chooses, and then they put their thumb on the scale to make it unattainable for anybody that they don't pick and choose. So we need to make sure that they pick and choose Vanessa this in November, and put our thumb on her scale, the way that they've done for everybody else.
Well, you said a mouthful right there. So tell us, how does the Democrat Party do that specifically?
Well, remember, we're talking about a primary right now, right? So we're not even talking about a general election in my race. So for the Democratic Party to have a slate in a primary means that they don't want to see who the best candidate is.
Right.
So they picked and choose. So there were some judge races where they had their finger on the scale, and they didn't let the best judge win, or however it goes, because they're out there campaigning actively. And the Democratic, I don't know the numbers, but it seems as though they spent a lot of money in a primary that they usually don't spend, mostly because of the efforts that were put forth for the precinct project. Mm-hmm. And then that bled over into other races. So that precinct project pressure, which comes down May 30th, is the redistricting. No, I might not be saying the right word, but May 30th at a local hall on Reading Road, 10 a.m. It's open to the public. We will be going in there to figure out what's going on with the Democratic Party and to make sure that they're working correctly, because a lot of us want our precinct executive positions. So we'll be going in there and we'll be restructuring the Democratic Party to make sure that it's fair for all.
Okay, interesting. Trying to glean like specifically what does that mean, but okay, appreciate it. But let's get to the first topic. Cincinnati Metro bus hero story. And I got a lot of people on my Facebook timeline who knew this gentleman. I just started seeing these emotional posts about somebody who had passed away. And just within my own circle, it appears he was a stand-up guy, and a lot of people that, cared for him and thought very highly of him. At least that's what I saw. And apparently something happened on a Metro bus where, and I don't have the details, but what was reported was that he loaned the guy a cell phone, wanted to get the cell phone back, some type of scuffle ensued, a pistol was pulled out or a weapon was pulled out, and somebody lost their life. That individual has been arrested, and so we'll see what happens with that process. But what do you think about this story? I'm sure you've heard about it.
So Brother Bond was one of my good friends. He helped me start our farm in Roselawn. I've camped out with him, and we took a chicken and broke his head and plucked him and grilled him right there on the grill. Brother Bond was a genuine, hardworking, loving. Just when you were around him, the frequencies in the room changed. Like that was his aura. He was just of the earth, from the earth. And I'm mad at him because the story is that I'm mad at him, but I know because if they say he was trying to protect people and all these things, that's him. And I always think that I would do that. I would step up if they pulled a gun. But now I'm so mad at him for stepping up and doing whatever he did. Or if somebody took my cell phone, would I go get it back? Because my kids can't handle that. And I can't handle Brother Bond losing his life like that. And the city is hurting because of this. And he was loved on all accounts. There's no bad stories about James. It's a weird thing, and it happened so early in the morning. It was what was up with the kid that did it, or the young man that did it. It's rough. It's rough.
Yeah, well, condolences to you, my friend.
Yeah, no doubt, Damon. You know, to me, it's just a tragedy. It's a sad and it's a frustrating story. I think for all of the things that Damon just said. You know, I didn't know Brother Bond personally, but like everybody else, have heard the stories since his passing, and it's not him that I'm mad at. You know, what I'm mad at is, I think, as I wrote about the piece afterwards, is what we seem, and when I say we, I'm not talking about, I'm using that as a general term for society, some elements of our society, is that what we're willing to take a life or take somebody's life for. You know, we're talking about a cell phone in this situation, a disagreement over a cell phone that was loaned to you. Like, that's enough to shoot a man twice in the stomach and once in the back of the head. I mean, come on, man. There's a serious conversation that we got to start having about just how some people in our society, you know, regardless of the color, regardless of the gender, there's some disturbed, emotionally disturbed, traumatized individuals that just do not see value in life. They don't see value in their own lives, and they sure don't have a problem in taking your life. And that's the frustrating thing to me. The frustrating thing to me is you can't be a good brother like Brother Bond, and loan a guy a cell phone on the phone. He's trying to be nice. He's trying to do so. He didn't have to do that. He could have minded his business. And in fact, most people probably would have. I mean, I interviewed Cam Hardy for the column that I said, and Cam talked about this guy. He said he's running into this guy on the bus multiple times before, and this dude is always turned up. He's always on 10. That was Cam's word that he used. Cam had to pay the brother's bus fare because he was going at the bus driver one time to try to calm him down and diffuse the situation. So it's like, you know, this type of stuff I just don't have much patience for, man. It's just it's frustrating. It's angering that, you know, you had a good man who lost his life over nothing.
Listen, I respect that viewpoint. There's a lot of people that have it, but to me, that's premature. Like, I think it's premature to arrive at that point, Kevin, because my first thought is, I'm wondering if this person don't have some kind of mental illness. And so if he's got a mental illness, like, then what you just said is not really, it's not really consistent to what's going on here. We're not talking about rational decisions. If somebody's got a mental illness.
He just said that he has a mental illness. Cam Hardy, they've noticed that he's always agitated. This is a
right
pattern. But what we don't have
the issue is, right. That's what I'm saying. So the issue for me is, you're right. So what I'm saying is, these aren't rational. I don't understand people that jump to the conclusion of what's wrong with society. What you mean? He mentally ill and he got access to weapons. That's the problem. That little calculation
I'm
right
not
there.
Gonna say that. That's a premature judgment, Nathan, because nobody on this podcast and nobody has determined medically
exactly
that this brother has a mental illness.
Exactly.
Look,
so
you got some. Let's just look. No. We're not gonna do this, because what I'm not gonna sit here and say is that every brother who got anger issues got some form of mental illness. We don't know. Now if this brother gets evaluated and they determine that he's suffering from some type of mental illness, fine. I'm willing to say that. But we also know that we got a lot of brothers who are running around here mad at the world for whatever issues.
So you're making assumptions then. All I'm
I'm
saying
not gonna sit here and say
you're making assumptions.
Got mental health. If they determine that, if a doctor determines that, cool. But I'm not gonna sit here and also give him. You're not gonna
sit here and do what, Kevin?
Huh?
You're not gonna sit here and do what? You're not gonna sit here and wait until you get more information so you can make a responsible decision, an opinion. Is that what you're saying?
Go back and listen to my comments. I said, Nathan, I don't know whether it was mental health, whether it was trauma. I listed a number of things that I said it could have possibly been in my comments, and I said that it was sad. From my point of view, regardless of whether the guy is mental or not, you still have a guy who lost his life over nothing. I don't care what the circumstances are.
Well, then that should be the focus, then, not assuming we know that this person just was amoral and just violent, or whether this person was mentally ill and it was a tragic circumstance. Why not wait until we know before we choose either side?
Again,
because
if you
the
go back
focus
and
should
listen to
be
my comments,
this brother.
I think I'm cool with standing on what I said, because if you go back and listen to my comments, all of what you just said was included in that. But I still, regardless of what's going on with dude, it's still a tragic circumstance.
Exactly.
Which is my overall point, where a man lost his life over nothing, which is my major point.
Yeah, but what I think is,
that's not the headline, though.
Yeah, and what I think is more tragic is that it's becoming normalized for us. Like it's just happening, and we're starting to go through the cycle and just wait for the next one. That's the problem. The other thing is, I don't think you can kill people with a gun without a gun. So that's the other question that we have. The third thing, which I'm excited not to hear, is normally we place blame and we decide, is it the parents? Is it the city? Is it this? And at least we're not yelling blame this time, because we all sit back and try to point fingers. The question is what are we going to do about it? As Black, intelligent people watching what's happening in our community, what is our plans? What, regardless of how it happened? Because our community is probably needs more healing. I said this recently. We need more healing than any other group. And at the same time, they give money to people who don't look like us, who say they're going to help heal us. My question is, what are we going to do about it? Wait for the next one.
Well,
that's all we do. I'm pointing a couple of fingers. The question is, what are we going to do?
Well, what we should be doing is having a serious conversation about whether we are doing as much as we can. Are there any alternative routes that we could take in terms of our local mental health services? And at the same time, we should be having conversations where people make legislation about what they can do about that nexus, that connection point between people who should not have weapons and their availability of getting weapons. We should have serious conversations, bipartisan conversations about that. That's what we should be doing.
We talk a lot, and honestly, we need to start doing. We need to start activating. The data has been out there forever. And right now, people run towards doing something that they feel is a little more sexy with their money, if I can use that terminology, as opposed to really digging down to the root of what's going on. So you can't jump over and grab to try to help kids without figuring out how to help their parents. Poverty matters. Where they go to school matters. How we treat them matters. And we have not. We just scratched the surface. And then we put a little money over here. And instead of saying, hey, this did a little bit, so now let's add to this lane, we try to take away from the first lane to give to the second lane. Do you get what I'm saying? We are not investing in fixing this, period. We're not. And so now we're getting numb. And great people are dying. I've heard nothing but good things. I've met him before, but nothing but good things, right? But so have kids have died too. And we're allowing it to happen. It's happening on our watch.
Can we also have this conversation too, though? Because I hear everything Alandes is saying. I don't disagree with it. But there's also a moral conversation that you need to have here, because there are plenty of people who are poor and live in poverty who ain't killing each other, who ain't killing other people. So I'm not going to sit here and say that the social challenges that you just outlined aren't things that need to be addressed. Yes, we need better mental health services. Yes, we need to help lift people up out of poverty. But there's also a certain amount of moral and personal responsibility that, regardless of what lot you have in life, that does not give you an excuse.
What if you're mentally ill, Kevin?
To devalue somebody else's life.
What if you're mentally ill, Kevin? What if you're mentally ill, Kevin?
Yeah, but Kevin, you're
that excuse to
what
say
if somebody's mentally ill?
You're going down the wrong path, because what I didn't say is that it was one or the other. So let's be perfectly clear.
No, I'm not saying you said that. I'm not saying you said that, Alandes. I'm just making the point that I'm making the point that one of the things. No, let me finish, Alandes. I'm just making the point that one of the things that we don't ever say, that we don't talk about enough when we have these kinds of conversations, is the moral decay. The moral decay that exists in terms of how we look at valuing each other. And I'm talking, I'm talking to us. I'm not talking to, I could be talking to just people in general, but I'm specifically talking to us, because we're the ones who are losing our lives. We're the ones that when they talk about crime in Cincinnati, it has a black face, because largely it is us who are killing each other. And so there's a moral responsibility, a part of the conversation that we need to have. And again, I have to say this because I don't want anybody going there and saying, "Oh, Kev, you ain't taking into account." I'm saying I'm agreeing with you on that. But if we're going to talk about those other things, we have to talk about this other piece as well. And we don't.
That sounds good, but no, it's premature. If we find out that this brother has been dealing with mental illness, then everything you just said don't calculate to that. That's a whole different conversation. And but you're right, though, Kevin. You're right. We do need to talk about the morals, but you're talking about the wrong morals. We need to talk about the morality of our public budgets. What are we doing with our state and federal funding? That is what we need to be talking about.
So Kevin, relationship and intentionality in relationships help. And when I say we jump to kids to help kids because it's sexy, when I say help their parents, you help their parents think through morale issues and decision making, and you partner with them, but it's intentional moments. And people do pay for intentional moments these days, unfortunately, because everyone is trying to work, make their lives, just keeping up with life. And at the same time, how do I reach out to the other person to help bring them up? So it's not one thing, it's so many different things. And I do believe we have to save us. And I think I've said that 100 times before. So I'm not blaming. We have to change us. And it's not just about the morale issue. Because listen, I can tell you that I don't plan on ever killing anyone in my life. But I can't promise you that, because I don't know what might not happen. I might be in a situation where I snap. I might be in a situation where my family, do you know what I'm saying? So I would think that I would never, ever take a life.
We definitely have a culture problem, and wherever it started, it's all propaganda, and it's the music, and it's the like the VH1 type culture problem, like a Real Housewives of Atlanta type culture problem.
How is that a problem, Damon Lynch the fourth?
How is that
a Real Housewives of Atlanta? How does that factor into Black people's problem? I'd like to hear this.
Because it shows us it makes people emulate a lifestyle that isn't quite attainable. But so to attain that lifestyle, you have to hustle, you have to fight for things. Whereas, let's say when I was growing up in the 90s, or not even the 90s, but before that, the Cosby Show might have been attainable, or A Different World might have been attainable, but those shows are few far in between. And now VH1 is stocked with For the Love of Ray J. And we're constantly exploiting each other, but we're only exploiting our worst aspects in the most part, right? So then the culture is built around that. And if you say gangster rap was a representation of what was going on in the community, well, gangster rap magnified it, and now it's in more communities. So it became a bad culture. So then so now guns are a part of our culture. Some of these young boys think that guns is an accessory like a belt or a wallet. And that's how they operate, whether they use them or not. But far too often, if you have one, then you may use one. And to the mental health question, we all have mental health issues. If we follow Dr. Joyce DeGraw, post-traumatic slave disorder, we all have mental health issues. Now, it could expound on you differently, but to the anger issue that Brother Kevin brought up, that's a mental health issue. That we think anybody who shoots somebody, to me, has a mental health issue. Because why would you think that you could
What if
take
it's
that
self-defense? What if it's straight up self-defense?
Yeah, what if it is? That's few far in between.
You're saying barring that, you're saying everything else. Barring that big one.
And even if it's self-defense, why did you have your gun?
Because somebody
self-defense. Why were you outside with your gun to be ready for the self-defense? That's the mental health issue. The fact that we're carrying all these guns because somebody else might have a gun.
Let me get this straight.
Wait a minute,
no. Let's hear him out. Let's hear him out, though. Let's hear the brother out. So you're telling me the issue is that humans have an overarching, just genetic, sort of unyieldable impulse to live, that they might want to protect themselves, and that's the problem.
No, I'm telling you that America. I'm telling you that America is built on cowboys and Indians and slave masters and slaves, so that there's so much violence that we think we have to carry guns to live, and then that was compounded by the propaganda, basically through the music that I grew up with, that now young Black people think that they have to carry guns to live.
Brother, we just finished talking about a story about a man who some might argue if he was armed himself, he may be alive today. You cannot. That's a big reason why people carry guns. That's the majority of the reason why people carry guns. Is self-preservation. They're not looking to harm somebody. Majority of gun owners are not out here just willy-nilly popping off. Those are mentally ill people. You're not mentally ill because you want to carry a firearm. That makes no sense.
Let's keep the argument, because here's what I hate to see us do. And Nathan, I know you doing your job, stirring the pot, keeping it spicy. I know that's what you're doing. I know that I don't peep the game.
Nah, but I mean every bit of it.
Let's talk about the violence, okay? Let's keep the conversation to the violence that we're seeing, because that's exactly what we're talking about. That's exactly what we're talking about here, and people who are perpetuating violence in our city and across the country. And look, the reality is we got gang issues here in Cincinnati, and that's what's driving a lot of this violence that we're seeing, a lot of these retaliatory shootings, these neighborhood beefs, this stuff that's going on, and the ease of access with which these young kids, these young men and women in the city can get access to guns. And let's just keep it real. There's a lot of it that no matter what legislation you pass in Columbus that's dealing with legal acquisition of guns, nobody has yet solved how do you stop the problem with the streets being flooded with illegal guns. So you can shut down Walmart. You can shut down the Trader's World and the flea market loopholes. That still ain't gonna stop these boys from getting these guns out on the street. You have to be able to solve that problem. And with all of the money that's in the gun industry, I think there are a lot of people who are complicit in allowing the illegal guns to be funneled and come into this country and find its way into the neighborhoods. So I think that's a big problem that's hard to get your finger around legislatively. To the cultural issue that brother Damon was talking about, we can, on one hand, I think what he's talking about is the power of media, right? And what media, and I'm not just talking about mainstream news media, I'm talking about all media, whether it's whether it's rap music, the Housewives of Atlanta, movies that come out, Power, Force, all of these kinds of movies that you see out there. If you're going to sit here and say that what the Inquirer or local news might report every day influences how people see and fear crime and safety in Middletown, in downtown Cincinnati.
Oh, of course, it does.
You can't say all of this media that we're seeing, which I would agree, a lot of it is trash. A lot of it promotes fake lifestyles and stuff that most people are never going to obtain, but you get young minds that, and even some older minds that are twisted by this social media nonsense that we see out here. People pipe posting fight videos and kids thinking it's cool to do that. You know, running up and pushing people, the video trends of that.
We are so hypocritical as a society about these fight videos. We are so hypocritical as a society about these fight videos.
Wow,
we love fighting. People spend millions of dollars, and whenever it's on Netflix with Mayweather, we love fighting. We're acting like we don't like to see people fight. It's hypocritical.
I think we have to understand, like, yeah, seeing a fight video every now and then, okay, interesting. But then when your feed becomes inundated with them, and then you have to understand why your algorithm is like that, and you can't fall into it. There's a lot of forces at play as to what we see and how we see and why we see, that it all plays back into controlling our culture. And then I think a lot of times, like when Miss Powell said about the parents, I think a lot of times we let people off the hook. Like the last show, we were talking about the police officers that did the thing at the bank, and they'll just get reprimanded. We need punishment that makes people stop doing what they're doing. And I don't mean just in the courts, but even in the public opinion. Like we'll let a whole family off the hook. Your son's a serial killer. We have to be able to hold people accountable and hold the whole tree accountable so that we don't continue producing from these trees.
I don't understand what you mean. You say hold people accountable. Like what? Give me an example.
We have
of
to
what
hold
you're talking
people accountable.
In what way?
In the ways of just like we need to help the parents and not just the kids. The parents need to be more held accountable.
In what way? Like give me an example.
All the ways, like go to jail.
All the ways.
Don't pass go.
Okay.
Don't pass go. And I really said socially. So just we have to understand that little Jimmy that just shot up the store, we have to pluck his whole situation. Little Jimmy just shot up the store. Is just little Jimmy's fault?
I'm sorry, I got distracted. I'm sorry, no disrespect, but what is Black? You want to address this thing that Black Lion has with you, Kevin?
I really don't, because I don't need to deal with fraudsters. I already made it clear when we closed out last season my position on Black Lion. There's nothing that Black Lion can say that I even feel like I even need to acknowledge, because he wants to, Black Lion is full of himself and full of his ego. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to feed into that. So he can sit there and he can say whatever he wants in his little chat. Brother, trust me, I sleep just fine. I ain't concerned about nothing you say, what you think, or how you feel about me. So basically you wasting keystrokes and breath that you're going to need one day. So just save it. You know what I'm saying? Don't nobody, you're irrelevant to me, brother. So I'm just going to let you know that right now. So save your commentary. Is that good enough for you, brother Nate?
That brother, he lives to get under people's skin. He is enjoying every second of this, man. He enjoying every second. He just has that ability to do it, but he be picking and choosing, though. I didn't watch you. He be picking and choosing. But it's all good, Black Lion. Yeah, I see you.
I want to ask you a question, brother Nick, and you may know. Maybe I know the answer, maybe I don't. But how come like Dubai and those places don't have crime?
Because they cut off your finger. Like they do. Yeah, I will tell you, I have traveled all over the world. And the first time I went to, I think it was India, they were actually whipping someone with a branch, which I forget what they call it. And then probably a couple months later, a guy from Dayton, my hometown, was out of the country. Do you guys remember him? He did something and they whipped him. I forget what they call it.
Michael, so he got hit with the bamboo?
Yeah, the bamboo. And it's called whipping. And we do like to see fights. We even like to hear fights. People join into what you're doing, Nate, sometimes just to hear the verbal fights. So I'm okay with a fight. I fought a lot when I was young. I'm okay with a fight. It's when you bring guns and knives that it becomes a problem. So we all know that we don't mind looking at a great fight. So that I just wanted to make sure I said that when you asked the question. I do think that when you were talking about hip hop and everything, music does change your mood. It just really does. It is our culture. But I remember I used to go to work listening to Tupac, and I would show up with such an attitude, like the whole day. And I had to figure out how to strategically, I would have to figure out how to strategically help the people who look like me. And I couldn't do it because I was coming in, in my army fatigues, really in my heart. And I was listening to Tupac, who I listen to now because I love him. And he spoke the truth and it still exists today. But I had to change my music and make sure you didn't see my military jacket. I had to put it underneath my other clothes, if you can visualize that, to be able to help people strategically. So music does, it changes us. There's been projects, the Jane Project, that actually showed that on TV, when they started putting women in forensic science, women enrolled in forensic science like 80% up, all because they saw it on TV. So like, I don't watch things like Power or The Wire. Like, I don't want to see our kids doing that, because to me, sometimes people want to emulate it. So I do believe that. I also believe that it starts at home. And when I say jump over the kids, get to the parents, we've been jumping to get to kids, and it's not helping, because those same kids, we jump into their kids now to try to help them, as opposed to taking a break and get with these families and get with them, trying to understand what do they need intentionally. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what we need. And we need it in such a big way, because what we have told our kids is that they really don't matter. We question ourselves. We can't even use Black anymore. So what we've told our Black kids is they don't matter. They're not going to amount to anything. So what life do they normally show up? And if you go talk to their parents, you might find out that's what they feel. Or that's what they learn when they go visit their daddy in jail. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's big. So I do believe all these things play a part in it, but it's not one thing. It is several things that we have to do.
Alandes, when you was talking, it reminded me of a question I had for you, because I saw something that you posted, and then I had this question, and it just came back to me. Can I ask you a question? It's in relationship to what you just said. But so here you are, you have an organization that is titled Black Arts Speak. And I'm just curious, as someone who started an organization like that and understanding your social justice, platform, what is it like now when on the federal level, you have all this anti-DEI, anything with the word Black in it seems to be racist? Has that impacted what you do? And what do you see from your perspective, in that space?
It's kind of hard, in all honesty, because I've had to just say no and forego the money at times, because I just have this thing about I'm keeping my name like, I'm not going to Toby. I'm keeping Kunta Kinte. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to change my name. And as people are changing their name and they say they're not changing their mission, I have watched their missions slowly creep to a change. So names matter. And when we say Black Art Speaks, we're not talking about just Black people. We're talking about people who believe that we should matter, who believe in equality and understand there's a lens of equity that has to happen for us to catch up. So you can be any color.
I see.
But I went to Cleveland recently with the Cleveland Cavaliers, because they've kept a couple of their programs. And what they don't do is they don't use DEI. They use diversity, equity, and inclusion. And when you separate it and really understand the basis of those words, you really can't challenge it. It's when you start calling it something. Is that making sense? So really, words matter, terminology, how you use it. But there's things I've had to do strategically there's some things that I'll have to do, but I won't change Black Art Speaks name.
Would you, and again, if I'm getting too much in your business to say, it's none of your business. But since we're here, and I'm just curious, again, not trying to put anything on Front Street, but I'm just curious, because now I'm thinking it's money out here, but how would you, because I'm sure part of what you do is get that money in and have those conversations and connections and relationships. What if somebody approached you, but their politics are aligned with, the Trump side of things? What do you do? How do you process that?
I've said no. So I went to Dayton recently to talk about that. And so I say no as an organization. What I tell artists to do is, yes, go get that money. Someone needs to push back and say no. As an organization, I don't need your money. I'm not for sale. Now, will there come a time when I have to look at how do I do things a little different? There would, but I would have to look and see what that really, if you gave me $3 million today and said, hey, we're going to give you this, I want to know what else you're going to do to build our ecosystem. I want to know what your next behavior is going to be. Just taking a couple dollars doesn't do anything for us long term. I want to know how you're going to change inside your organization. So there's the power of no. And I know sometimes it's hard for people to say. I've been blessed because I worked hard, to get where I am. And I was blessed in corporate America. I don't know that everyone gets to live the life that God has given me. But because of that, I own telling the truth and walking in what I say. So the day I need to take money and I decided to take money, I will come on this show and tell you, guess what I just did? Do you know what I'm saying? And guess why I did it? Yeah. So you can connect the dots with me and you can understand, because people still have to eat. But there's a way to eat without being a sellout. I call it a sellout. I've been trying to find.
Is that really a sellout though? Because, and the other part about that is, like, I see the stuff, the kind of stuff you post, and you let your feelings be out there about how your politics are. Mm-hmm. And let's be real here. Let's say somebody come with some big pockets and they like, hey, we want you to have this. And you let them know, like, look, I'm not for sale. And they like, look, we're not telling you to do anything different. But the fact that you have that relationship is still going to have an impact on, like, I would think how much you put out there, how forthright you are about your political positions, because you don't want to damage that relationship. See, that's that gray area that we don't like to talk about.
I'm in the gray area now.
Right.
I'm in negotiations.
I don't know what's fair or unfair in that, because what you do has great impact. We all adults, we know what it is at the end of the day.
But here's the difference.
How do you give that up just because of where the money is coming from? But on the other hand, people will say you selling out, like you said.
So I'm gonna find a different word besides sell out. Maybe I'll call it weak-hearted people or something. But let's think about it like this. If you give me money, but then you tell me I can't speak my truth, you can keep your money. Do you get what I'm saying? So if you give me money and tell me I get to keep going out here and doing everything I'm doing, I don't mind taking it. But 99% of the time, people who have offered it to me have actually wanted to take control of my voice and what I say and not say. And you can't
let it be known. So how is that?
Yes.
Is it you saying, hey, listen, this is who I am? Do they come to you and say, hey, listen, can you tone this back? Or what exactly is said?
They actually say that if they do this, then I need to support what they're doing vocally, right?
Oh, okay.
And if I can't support you because I look a little closer to everything, then you'll have to change your ways before I take your money, because I'm not going to take your money and then say you're great. I'm going to take your money, use your money, and still tell you your shit stink. I said no cussing, and still tell you what you putting out smells, right? That's different. Most people they want you to actually sign on the line that you're not going to say they stink anymore. Is that making sense?
I understand.
So it's really to lift their organization up, but I'm not going to lie for you.
I get it. I appreciate you being so forthcoming, with those questions. I didn't know if it was a line there. I figured I'd test you. You'll tell me where I was supposed to be and not supposed to be, but that's interesting.
Yeah.
Very.
There's a saying, Nathan, that all money is not good money. And I think that's kind of what Alandes is trying to say, is that sometimes the conditions or the attachments that comes with taking money from some people, even if that is not being able to be able to speak as freely as you would, or that a lot of times there's a expectation of reciprocity that comes back. That's not always in dollar for dollar, but as she says, support, things of that nature. And people will lay in the cut sometimes for years. They can support you for years, and then one day that favor come and it's like, hey, yeah, I done helped you, I done propped you up all these years. I need you on this. And if your organization becomes too dependent upon that for survival, you wind up making choices that, might have to compromise you if you need that and you've come to depend on it. So I do think, you do have to do your vetting, if you're any organization, as to, who you take money from and what is the expectation of that comes along with that, because sometimes it's not always said up front, and you just got to watch how people move.
When you asked me earlier what I learned about my campaign race, it was just that there was money at play, so a lot of people couldn't say a lot of things. There were a lot of people that love me that couldn't help me because the money that they don't have, that they were hoping maybe one day to get, the endorsement that they hope one day to keep, or something along those lines. So behind the scenes, they're like, "Oh, I love you, Damon. I loved you all your life. I know you since you was this big, and I'll donate a couple dollars, or you got my vote, but I can't say anything for you because they're beholden to the money." So the money is always the gray area.
Yeah, I get your point. And as you were talking, I was thinking, you just experienced something that everybody experiences, but it's one of those moments in which you can really test people around you, right? So, I've heard people say that you really don't know the type of relationship you have with people until you ask them for something, right?
Yeah.
And so you was just asking people for something, and you got a chance to test, in a sense, all these types of relationships. Did you like what you saw? What did you see?
I just saw that people, the money. I was a $2,000 man. So if you lose your $2 million man, well, how we gonna get some money? It was all a money play. I'm Damon Lynch IV. Everybody, I've loved all these people a long time. People been in politics and working in Avondale and working in Roselawn a long time. And I've supported these people in all their things. But then when I came to them, since I was on the outside of the money, they couldn't step on the money for me.
Do you want to put any names out there?
Not today. Not today.
All right, that's fair. As the host, I got to ask. That's
I put
my
a
job.
couple neighborhoods out there, but not today.
Well, maybe when you decide to, I hope it's here, because I'd like to hear that. Because it's the final puzzle to what you said. We don't know. And even if we did know, so what you're telling me is, so Greg Landsman in office, and because he's in office, he's created a network of relationships who all eat out of him being in office. And because of that, they're unwilling to go against that. It could be money, it could be future positions, whatever it could be, something they getting out of it that you can't offer because you're not the incumbent. And they chose that thing over and over again. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's valid.
Okay. Now, is that wrong?
But that's the nature of
just
politics,
human beings?
though. That's the nature of politics, though. Like that, like what you're talking about, what you're expecting politics to be something that is never purported not to be. I mean, that's all it is about, everybody gives their vote to somebody because they believe what that person is going to do for them or their family or their community, whether that's direct cash payments, whether that's creating more job opportunities. That's what politics is. It's about what you believe the person who's running can do to improve your life, right? And so you throw your money, you throw your support behind who you believe's best can do that and will deliver on it. I mean, that's the nature of what politics is. I mean, I think we live in this fantasy world of like, that the politics is just about this, that, or the other in the purest form. Come on, man.
Let him believe what he wants to believe in.
Well, no. But it goes back to the question you asked Miss Powell about would she turn down the money if it came from nefarious sources. Mm-hmm. So then when I'm exposing that the money's coming from nefarious sources, but the Ohio Democratic Party endorses $10 million of nefarious money, then it's not just the politics, it's just bad money, right? So if the money's coming from the people of Ohio District 1, then yeah, it's the politics. I wouldn't even have had a case. But when the money's coming from nefarious sources, so that now our gas prices are $5, and we sent the man that's going to vote against us 13% of the time when it really matters, then it becomes a problem when you can't say like, oh, okay, yeah, let's get the money out of politics, because everybody wants the money out of politics, right?
Yes. But the money makes it very difficult. The money people make it very difficult for the average person to get the money out of politics, because they will not allow you to move to campaign finance reform. If you ever want the people in this country to have real power, the kind of power that y'all are talking about, you got to get the money out of it, because if you don't, then it just becomes an arms race, a fundraising race. Whoever has the most money, more often than not, is going to win. That's not that you don't see some cases out there. So to Damon's point, if I'm the Democratic Party, right, and I know for my candidates to have any chance to win against Republicans who just going to take that money, then I got to figure out a way to get that money to compete. Because if I don't have the money, I don't care how good, how noble, how moral my candidate is, I can't compete. So the money is the problem, right? The money
so
in
if you
the
compromise
politics
your
is
integrity for the money, then you have no integrity. Yeah. So what are we doing?
So let me ask you this though, when we say compromise. So like when people are elected, I think they are elected for all of us, whether they're Democrats or Republicans. And I think when we have people in office, they are supposed to look across the landscape and decide how I'm going to vote on individual things. I'm not like a one-hit wonder where I just focused on one thing when it comes to voting. And I think when we put people in leadership, they actually have to think through it for all people. If not, why are we sending them there? Because I don't think they should just agree with me or agree with you. I think they should be looking at the landscape and deciding what they agree with and why, and vote that way. But I think a lot of people think they should just vote according to what we say they're supposed to vote, understanding they may have, I'm gonna make it up, 500 people in their district, right? And it's made up of 50-50. So are they just supposed to vote on the right side or on the left side? And I'm asking the question as opposed to making a statement, how I feel. It's a question about when people say this person didn't vote for us all the time. And then you go look at his community and say, yeah, it looks like he voted for them a couple of times. Maybe that was because of the subject matter. Or maybe do we just feel like they're like not supporting us from a Democrat standpoint or Republican? It could be either or.
No, I don't think they're supporting any people at all. I think they only support the money.
Right? No, that's what you think. But I'm saying, is that always the truth? Because I don't know that that's the truth.
Well, you just have to look at the votes. You have to look at the votes. That actually, like, right? So the votes are always towards the money. He sent us to war because of the money. He's like that. Or he voted for like it's always the money.
Are we talking about a person? Or are we talking?
I'm talking about one-ish person, but it's always in general. The money, okay. The fact that the money is there, they vote with the money. That we don't have data centers because it benefits the people. We have data centers because it benefits the money. These votes are always about the money. If they were about the people, then yeah.
But do you understand when I say about the people, that the people is made up of a diverse group, whether it's Republican, Democrat, Independents, and it's like if you're responsible for that community, aren't you responsible for the entire community when you're leading it and not just voting one way or the other? And really looking at
Donald Trump is responsible for the whole America, right?
Yeah, y'all voted.
And his decisions, per what you're saying Trump's responsible for the whole America, and his decisions are for the whole of America.
He's not doing it right, and we both know that.
Who is doing it right?
Well, that's my question, though.
None of them.
Donnie seems to be doing it right.
I was saying
Donnie seems to be doing it right up in New York.
Listen, I was saying, shouldn't we expect it?
Good answer. Go ahead. What were you saying, Ms. Powell?
I was saying, should we expect that? I wasn't saying who's doing it right or wrong. I'm saying that's what I think we should expect, not saying whether he did this percent or she did that percent. It was really about the issues and what was the right thing for the community that they represent.
But you know,
but it's hard to expect it.
Though, go ahead, David. Go ahead.
Well, because I was coming to you. It's hard to expect it when we have Brother Aldridge saying, well, that's how it works. The more money you get, the more money. Like, no, it can't be like that. We can't be beholden to the money. So we can't expect anybody to what?
Don't mistake me saying, don't mistake me agreeing with saying how it is with agreeing with it. Like a lot of times when I say things on here, like people be like, oh, that's how you think. No, I am stating the reality of how it works. I say it all the time. I talk about how things are, not how I wish them to be or some flight. Like what I just said is exactly the dichotomy that the field that we're playing on. What I'm saying is, as long as money is in it, it's not that I want it to be that way. That's just the way that it is. If you examine and you break down, which Damon, I think you discovered as you ran for it, there is a system that is at play that produces results regardless of what the common man or outcomes, a certain outcome, not 100% of the time, but we're talking about percentages. The majority of the time, there's a system that's set up that produces certain results regardless of what the average person thinks or even wants. We're living in that right now. We live in a state where people said we don't want gerrymandering. We got gerrymandering. Why is that? Right? It's, thank you. You just did it. So it's not Kevin Aldridge is saying, hey, I endorse this, or I believe. I'm saying this is the system. This is the game that's been set up. And the only way you change the game is you got to change the rules of the game. That's as long as the rules stay the same, I don't care what you do. Yeah, you might win every now and again, but you're still up against a system of rules that is going to continue to create the same kind of outcomes that we see all the time. Now, people are trying, you mentioned what is trying to be changed within the Democratic Party, right? With the precinct project. You had a group of people who said, I see where this is going in terms of what the Democratic Party is doing in terms of its slate. And that's being an automatic ticket to these offices. So we got to figure out how people who don't agree with how it's being done, we got to figure out a way to get ourselves in position to be able to have influence to say who's on that slate, right? That's a version of trying to change the rules or the parameters of how the game is played, right? That's taking action to do that. Like that's the type of thing that average people have to do and can do. You can change the rules, but it takes organization, right? It takes commitment. It takes getting down in there, and with that precinct project, you might see some different results because they're changing the game.
Yeah, no, yeah, we're not stopping, right? We're not stopping. We're trying to make it better for everybody at every level, from Congress to the precinct level. And it's people working towards that. But we have to allow them to do the work and not step in the way and say, no, it's got to be the way it is because it's the way it is because our friends are taking $2 million of dark money. Nathan?
Oh, that's okay. That seems.
I named the name. I named the name, Nathan.
Oh, you named the name. Look at you, Hercules. You named the name. Look at you.
I named the name.
Named the name. Okay. All right, let's move on real quick. David Banner. You guys know who David Banner is? Yeah. I hate this conversation, and I don't want to have a conversation, but at the same time I do. But I'm gonna approach it from a lens that I have always been interested in. But you guys know who David Banner is? Rapper. Okay.
Yeah.
Alandes, have you met David Banner? No. Okay. It just seems like you know everybody. So I thought I'd ask. I just thought I'd ask. But let me see if I can grab this video from Instagram real quick because it would be so much easier.
So
David
Banner,
see a little bit of this.
The rapper, but he had a song called "Like a Pimp." This was 2003. But
why you got to bring up old news? Why are you trying to hate on that brother, man?
No, I'm not trying to
Go
hate.
ahead.
What I was trying to get to is when he dropped it and he came to Cincinnati, he called my dad and he walked downtown with my dad. He's always been on something like revolutionary, even though the song was rap.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. I'm just messing with you, Damon. That's all.
Themselves, he wasn't like that dude.
But how? That's heavy.
But it's the truth.
But how
He told Harry Belafonte, I think I have integrated my people into a burning house. That's basically telling Harry Belafonte everything that I built my life on is a lie. He said that. David Banner didn't say that. And I think if you ask his kids, they would tell you that. It's just harsh to realize that we've been duped, bro. That's the hardest thing when it comes to food, history, bro. If it ain't mathematics or science, in most cases, these people done lied to us. And that's hard to admit that we went down the wrong road, bro.
So I'm trying to separate.
What was the alternative?
I'm trying to follow.
Oh, dear Lord. Yes, it's the integration conversation. It's the one conversation I just hate. It just irritates me to no end, this conversation. So it sounds to me like, once again, Mr. David Banner, who's got thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people in this country that follow him and listen to him, is on this black people should never have integrated conversation. But that's not the way that I want to approach it. What I'm interested in is, let's assume he's correct. What are we supposed to do with this conversation? So let's assume that David Banner and all the people out there that feel like black people, we went down the wrong road when we chose integration. Let's say they're right. Okay, now it's 2026. Trump's in the White House. What are we supposed to do with that? Is that useful at all, or is it just me?
So the answer to what are we supposed to do is we're supposed to gentrify a neighborhood like they gentrify a neighborhood. We can all move to Roselawn right now and gentrify Roselawn. We can all, and then we can live there and have stores and be happy together. That's what we're supposed to do, and create community together. It's, instead of, if I get some money, moving to Westchester and go and live in a cul-de-sac where I'm one black person amongst 100 other white houses. That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to go to Woodlawn, or we're supposed to all go to Lincoln Heights and build community together. That's what I imagine we're supposed to do, rather than all thinking we're individuals and somebody claiming Avondale, somebody claiming College Hill. No, we're supposed to be able to build community, whether it's one street at a time, one neighborhood at a time, two houses. Why do I live in Price Hill? My mama lives in Westchester. My daddy lives in Batavia. We're supposed to start coming together and building community.
But what if I want to live out? What if I want to live in the suburbs because I work hard and stack my chips? What's wrong with that? Why? I don't want to move. I don't want to go out there. What if that's my attitude?
Let me address what Brother Damon just said, because first of all, that's just a false narrative. Because the reality is that most black people live together anyway. How many times do we talk about how Cincinnati is the most segregated city in the United States? So you already got black folks who are living together. The problem is, what you don't have is an economic base that makes those communities what Brother Damon talked about. And so there are politics and a lot of other things that are involved in that. Look, we were integrated into a burning house when we were brought to this country. Let's just say that right now. Our ancestors who were brought to this country through no free will of their own. They were forced here. They were put into slavery. So we're already here. If you remember, there were brothers like Marcus Garvey and others who were like, hey, we need to go back to Africa. Let's start the Back to the Africa movement. And it was like, nah, there was some black people like, nah, we're going to stay here and we're going to fight and we're going to try to make this country accept us and be equal. Like that was the discussion. It's been a discussion for as long as black people have been in this country. Do we stay or do we go? And there were some brothers who wanted to go, some who did leave, some who became expatriates in other places. Most of us stayed, right? And tried to fight for what we had built in this country and try to move into and make it equality. I think that's where King was. The issue is not integration. The issue was the mentality that black people took once we became integrated, because we bought into the same white supremacy narrative that white people had. We believe that even though we had our own stores and our own products, we believed that the white man's ice was colder, that his soap would clean you better, that his cars rolled better than our cars.
Really?
And so the minute black people became integrated, we moved away from our things when we had the ability to gain access to the places and things that white folks had denied us, whether that's schools or whatever. Yeah, absolutely.
No.
So that's what goes back. It's not that. It's not that.
Can I give the brother his props though? Can I big brother Kevin his props? I mean, you know, I was sitting here, man. I even took some notes. I was like, damn, this brother's starting to sound like me. I'm rubbing off on him. I made notes and everything, right? I was like, wow, yep, this point. You made like 3 good points in a row. I'm on a roll inside. I'm like, check out my boy. And then you said that last stuff that made no sense whatsoever. Talking about that's what happened. We start thinking the white man's ice was colder. What are you talking about, bro? That makes no sense.
He was sounding like, I call him Troy Tears, that little last part.
So you don't agree. You don't agree.
I do not agree with your last.
Absolutely not
whatsoever.
Okay. And I don't agree with his first part.
That has not been my experience. It's not how I was raised. It's not how my daddy was raised. Like, we were raised with Black power. We were raised with understanding that we are chosen. And the fact that you say that is part of the problem that we're faced right now with our kids. So what you're saying is what people want us to buy into. Let's be clear. Their ice is not colder.
I didn't say that it was. I said there are a lot of people who bought into that mentality.
I think that some people bought into it and it has snowballed. And instead of buying into it, we've bought into the fact we're not as good. But I'm not saying that it's like,
you just made my point.
I know, but hold on. We're not.
I didn't like.
But you can't say it like. But you can't say it like that's who we are.
I didn't say that. I just said that's what happened.
Have gone through, and we're not. And as long as we keep saying, going back, listen, me, you, and everyone on this call right now, we are getting ready to. If something happens to us today, all of us have left this place worse than we got it. When it comes to Black people, does everyone agree with that? That if something happens to all 4 of us today, we have left this worse than we got it. And I'm gonna assume we all are born in 60, 78. Okay.
Well, can I make a clarification?
I've been working my tail off since 1984. But hold on one second.
I didn't say you haven't.
No, I know.
I said collectively. Hold on.
Oh, for sure.
I can be clear. I can say collectively, right now, where we are. You don't think we're further back than when we started?
No.
Yeah.
I don't.
Absolutely.
I don't. I mean, I can point to a lot of different areas and categories where Black people are better off than we, in many cases, than we have been before. Now, I mean, I can talk to a lot of things that we were talking about earlier, and Brother Damon touched on it. Some things culturally that I can talk about that within the Black culture are our biggest problems that keep us from advancing, but they're not going to be things that are going to be popular, to say or to even talk about. I mean, so if we have a conversation, we can have an honest conversation about it. But that's the problem. We don't want to have an honest conversation about the challenges that we do have today. Why do we have them, and how many of those are self-inflicted?
Yeah, I'm having an honest conversation, so I don't know about you.
No, I'm not talking about anybody on this call. I'm talking about generally. I'm talking about generally as a people, as a culture, not anybody on this podcast right now or anything that we've been talking about. I'm talking about a more general conversation among us as Black people collectively.
Okay, so let's go back to David Banner really quick. First of all, I dig most of what he says. And sometimes he says something that's a little offbeat, and you still go back and say, but 80% of what he's talking about, I get. Does that make sense? So I will not judge him just on the 20%, because I think it's just like all of us. We might say some great things, but then we have that little quirk, right? Like you did at the end just now, Kevin. when you were getting yours. You know, everything sound good till you got to the end. So I'm not judging you on the end, right? Because what we do is when we don't like everything, we pull back. And it can be, we agree with 8 out of 10, but because of that 2, all of a sudden we're pulling back. And that's what's a problem, because there's great things that people are doing that we really need to buy into. And just because they make the one little thing, we shouldn't run from them. That's kind of what we do.
I don't think you really disagree with me though, Alandes. I think part of it is sometimes we hear what we want to hear, and we don't really hear like what the intention or the meaning behind it is. So I understand what you're saying, because you're talking about your experience. You can be a Black Power individual, someone who believes deeply in that, but still get caught up in the white supremacist narrative that exists in this country. It's hard not to if you Black. It's hard not to, because we are so inundated. We are so inundated with the messages and the images that is put in there that sometimes, even on a subconscious level, we don't even realize how much we've been indoctrinated with messaging that is anti-Black, and how we even project it and promote it on other folks.
The biggest white supremacists
of our own color
are Black people. But also, when you said that Black people are segregated and they do live together, no, poor people are segregated and they do live together. Because as soon as Nathan Ivey can, he going to get a house in the suburbs because he doesn't have to live there. So when you take out the economic driver in that apartment building, so now little kids aren't seeing the dentist go to work, they're not seeing the construction man going to work, they only seeing the hustler go hustle and the prostitute go prostitute, then it breaks down. But poor people are segregated. That's the integration, or that's the like when it was segregated, everybody who was there, so the community was sustainable, the community was together. Now if some of you rich people that live in Westchester,
wait a minute, here's the problem, and this is where I say this comes back to the politics, because this is what we can't do, okay? And this goes back to how cities are governed and how things are developed. So first of all, if I am a well-to-do Black person, I've worked hard, I've earned mine, and I've had dreams to live better and beyond what I am. If I can't find that in the neighborhood where I'm currently at, so I am supposed to stay there where the housing is inadequate, where I want to grow my family, where maybe I want to have, but that's not being offered in that poor community because of whatever government systems or whatever is set up. So what you're saying is that Black people then, for the good of the whole, have to not be upwardly mobile in a community where the things that they want are not offered.
No, what I said was gentrify something. White people went downtown, it looked like trash, now it don't no more. So what you saying is it ain't possible? Because I'm
not saying that it's not possible, but I just said that's the way that the city and the politics and all of that is set up. So I agree with you. There has been strategic disinvestment in certain neighborhoods, but that's coupled with poverty, right? Again, you got to look at it. Drive the home values down, property values down, let it get to a certain point. The money people come in, they scoop up all that property dirt cheap, they redevelop it, and then they move all of the poor people out of that neighborhood to a different neighborhood, right? And that's how the political, the economic system is built up. And Black people don't have an economic base enough, or as Alandes even said, those who try to buy property, right? Didn't you talk about that? Like you had your eye on something and you
I'm working on it now though. Look, I'm working on it now. But
yeah, you tried to get it, but you couldn't get it because
and so I've had to talk to people to figure out how to get it. But here's my question: is at the end of the day, if we just talk about Cincinnati, why does that happen to us in Cincinnati? Why? Like, why does it happen to us just in Cincinnati? Everything you just said. It's because we don't vote. Because we are over 40% of this community. And if we handled our business, they couldn't just do everything to us. but we let it.
Who were we supposed to vote for?
Listen, okay, let me talk through this really quick. First of all,
Go ahead.
You actually have to exercise your voice for even the next time for people to run. It doesn't happen overnight. But please, let's not pretend like we're doing our job as a collective body of Black people. Because if we were, we would be running Cincinnati. And we're not. We make up over 43. It got down to 38. Now it's about 42%. I watch it. Less than 2% of those people vote. And then we want the people that's in office to still look at us collectively and help take care of us when we don't even exercise our right to vote. And what you're talking about is most things that happen politically, like what happened downtown. It was all about politics, how it happened. Politics and corporate America, they combined. But politics doesn't happen if we actually stand up and say what we want and we go for it. We are not a collective unit. We're just not. And there's power in our, not just living. I live in a nice neighborhood of Black people. We all work. We all got nice houses. And most people don't even know we're out here. And there's been white people who moved here who didn't understand it was a Black neighborhood and they moved out within 2 years because they're like, oh my God, I didn't know. So it's not like we can't do that. Lincoln Heights is the oldest. Not
Wait a minute, Alandes. Did you? Where is Wakanda?
Yeah, I'm in Wakanda.
I was going to ask too. I was like, what you in Woodlawn? You in Woodlawn?
Yeah, no, I'm not.
Hey, they got that invisible. They got that invisible shield up around it. Hey, David, they got that Wakanda like invisible shield around it. You can't really tell it's a neighborhood like that. It looks
call it what you want to, but what I'm just trying to say. But what I'm trying to say is really, you guys, it's all on us. It's just on us because we should be running the city of Cincinnati. Point. Period. They should be asking us
run
what
the
we
city
want.
of Cincinnati.
You don't listen. Just because
it's
you're
all
a Democrat,
it's all niggas friends.
You're not listening because you don't know me well enough to say that, to think that's what I'm saying. So listen to this really carefully. Okay,
I don't call my friends out like that.
All Democrats, just like all Republicans, are not one or the other things. It's really a matter of the heart and a matter of the voice. So listen, if you knew I was going to vote and that 80% of Black people were going to vote, you would run on something different than what you run on, because you would be trying to figure out how to get my vote. They don't need to figure out how to get our vote because we're not voting. Do you understand the difference between, I don't care if it's a Democrat or a Republican. If you know we're going to vote, you have to figure out how to do things to keep me voting for you. Right now, we fuss about the Democrats. We vote for them whether they do. I'm one of those people too. I vote in the Democratic Party. I'm not saying it's the best thing, right? But it's like, what alternative do we have? But if we were voting together, we would have a different outcome. And y'all looking like you confused. You don't agree with that? I mean,
we are voting. We're voting.
We are not voting.
We only need more than one more vote than the other, man. We got all Democrat everything.
Here's why the voting alone won't change it. And
it's not nothing. Wait, hold on. You always do that, Kevin. I'm not going to let you say it though.
Let me get it out. No, you gotta let me say it because you don't know what I'm gonna say. Alandes, how you gonna answer? How you gonna answer and you don't know what I'm gonna say?
No, because you started off wrong. Last time you finished wrong. This time you start off wrong.
You don't even know what I'm going to say.
It's not. I just want you to know. I don't think it's one thing. I'm not saying this cures everything. I just want you to understand. I'm not thinking.
I understand what you were saying. If you let me get it out,
okay. Now you can talk.
I'm gonna say that I largely agree with what you were saying. You said it. You said it's political and it's corporate. I would use the word economic, and the reason why we say, "Oh, we got all of these Black elected officials or Democrats on city council, and yet Black people are still dealing with issues," is because it's not just simply to vote. It's black people need more economic power in the city of Cincinnati because the business community also runs Cincinnati. Understand this, don't nothing happen in this city without the business community being behind it. Money, corporate, economics. That is what black people in Cincinnati do not have. And the reality is, I guarantee you, the Wakanda that Alandes lives in, black people didn't build that. They might have moved there collectively, but they ain't built it. Okay. So if you're talking about building black communities, then you got to either have people who are sympathetic to that, or you got to have black people who are in a position to build communities, because what developers will already tell you is that they follow the money. They're going to build and they're going to go where the money is at. They will talk to any developer. That's where it's going to get built. They're not going to build in black neighborhoods in Cincinnati unless they can come in with an idea and a mind on how they're going to gentrify it and make it something other. Now, a few of y'all can move in there, but they're not going to build it with the express purpose of building it for black people. That is how this market works. So I've always said, in addition to a political plan, black people have to have an economic plan and an agenda for how do we build up our economic power to go along with what Alandes was saying about rallying ourselves and making sure that we vote, because you can't have one without the other, because what you got now is a bunch of corporate Democrats who are still going to be doing what the business community in Cincinnati wants done.
Yeah, I think your good point was agenda. So we don't have an agenda anymore. We all are just out there. So I agree with that piece. And I do agree that economic piece is a huge factor. But right now we were just talking about how to, it's a couple different things we have to do differently. But
so I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Go on.
No, the economic piece there. I think when we say we got to build an economic piece, we always look to the poor people to do it. There are like it's 10 homes in Westchester, 10 homes in Hyde Park. Go build a neighborhood somewhere. Like and the fact that they're like PG County, right? Big black county. I don't know how it's ran, but it's not intentional. We have to go gentrify something intentionally. My dad's church, it was downtown. When it was downtown was the worst neighborhood in America. Now downtown is beautiful. They moved my dad's church to Roselawn. Guess what the worst neighborhood in America is now? Roselawn on his street, right? So, but we have to be more intentional because they are intentional every day. When they want them little houses, they're going to come get them. It's going to be nice. So it's on the best of us to make this happen for the worst of us.
You know,
but I agree. I agree with that.
People are under stress right now. People are under stress right now. Everybody is, looking at their checkbook, wondering whether they can ride out this storm, and they're just not in a place to be doing anything extra. It's a lot of people like that.
But Nathan, I think when we talk about collective, right? This was a few years ago. You remember when they were redeveloping the Vernon Manor Hotel, right, in Cincinnati. So there were a conglomerate of black people who came together to invest in that project, correct? And I never will forget, because it was one of the worst mistakes that I made. Some brothers came to me and they were like, "Hey man, you want to get in on this, and here's what you need to get in." And it wasn't even really that much. It was too much for where I was at that particular time. I had it, but it would have emptied my pockets. But I did not have the thought process that I needed to get in on that investment. I was sorry that I didn't, because the return that I would have got from that would have been significantly better. But I did not have that type of mentality. All I was thinking was exactly like what you said, man. Times is tight. I got this, that. I wasn't thinking about that. What I'm saying is that sometimes maybe we need to think about how do we come up with more investment conglomerates of smaller numbers of us, where your return may not be as great, but you can get in. You know, if you got a few hundred, if you got 1,000, if you get enough of us together, that adds up to something. And maybe we start pooling our economic power to buy things and build things in our neighborhoods, and it ain't gonna be overnight, but maybe we have to do things one at a time, and then people get a little bit back on that investment once you flip it and you turn it around. There's smarter people than me. You know what I'm saying? I'm just tossing this out here, but there's smarter people than me who understand how the sausage is made, who could help us come up with an agenda of how do people who don't have much can pool a little together and make it a lot. You know what I'm saying? To do, even if that's buying up property, in our neighborhoods, right? Fixing up houses.
Who's got money to buy property, man?
So
again,
got no money to buy no property. But can I ask you a question real quick? So you're telling me that some brothers came to you about the Vernon Manor.
Yes.
You had a chance to get in to purchase it?
Not to purchase it. It was they were getting together money for investment to purchase it and be involved in the redevelopment of what it was.
And you looked at it, had it, and just, I ain't gonna pull the trigger right now. And they
went
on and did it.
Yes, I was scared because it was, for me at that time in my life, recently married, it was
all or nothing.
I had it, but as I said, it would have emptied my savings. Yeah. And I wasn't confident because I didn't know what I didn't know.
I get it. That's not the feeling I want to explore. What I'm interested in is, so they went ahead and did everything else, right? They did the project.
Yeah.
And you kind of watched this from afar. What did that feel like?
Well, I felt stupid. I felt like, man, I was scared. I felt like I missed out on some money that probably would have changed my situation. That
it was that kind of money?
I mean, I don't know because I wasn't in, but I know that there was. I mean, I'm sure the brothers who were at the top who put in, it's like any kind of thing. You got people who got a lot of money, some millionaires, some black millionaires, who they put some money up, and then it trickled down all the way to brothers like me, who didn't have that much, who had a chance to get in on it. And so I'm sure the higher up you were, the more you got out of it. But I'm sure what I would have gotten back would have been significantly more than what I put in.
So here's my next question real quick. So how did that experience impact similar scenarios in your life moving forward? So the next time an opportunity came to you, what did you do?
I jump on opportunities now.
Oh, okay.
I move on opportunities now, assuming that it's, assuming that I've assessed the risk and that I have the resources to do it. I move on opportunities like that now.
Is that still in your head sometimes? Because you brought it up. I'm thinking, okay, that's near the.
Bro, I've been ever since. I mean, how long have they done that redevelopment been over? That's been at least 10 or more years.
Okay.
I still think about that. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. I mean, I probably would too. I'm not trying to.
I have this
label on it.
So that has been done in Avondale, and some people, I do know people who come together with money from Black folks, and we invest in different things. Sustainability is hard. So when you think about the investment that went into Avondale, and then we look at the shop slowly closing down, the sustainability factor, and how do we get people to, and I know sometimes it might cost an extra couple cents for a while until they really get up and growing, but how can we get people to actually support the businesses that we help make happen?
So to that, with Avondale, if you look at the grocery store there, right? And the grocery store is, for lack of a better words, not doing well, failing, whatever you want to call it. But if you look across the street at the hood store, it's jumping. So it seems to me that sometimes our morals, like sometimes we catch morals in the wrong. Sometimes we catch morals. Like I talk to my dad all the time, and he wants to open up a store. I'm like, don't open up a store unless you're selling 40s and Newports. All the fruit and bananas you want to sell, it's not going to work unless you're selling the things that the neighborhood actually is going to go buy.
What did you just say?
You got to listen. The hood store across the street from the grocery store got a line around the corner and 100 people outside it. But they couldn't come in there. But right across the street, Black grocery store doesn't offer the things that they're looking for. So, and every hood store I go into, they're not owned by people who look like me. And if I ask my people, let's open up a store, they don't never things that people are going to buy. So we let our morals get in the way of us being economically stable.
Was that morals?
How many times can you go to a cereal bar? How many boxes of Apple Jacks can you eat?
Bro. You can't do that. You're gonna throw the cereal bar in there. You wrong for that, bro. And I was just about to make this point. You can't do that. That's against the black rules.
No, it's just not
a black
the best.
You can't serve it up for an example on a show like this. That's wrong. Dead
That's
wrong, bro.
Seriously. The grocery bar and Zola's, they all disappearing right now, right? But the hood store across the street and the Hook's Chicken and Fish jumping right now. Same neighborhood, same street. That's my point.
And that's what I'm saying, though.
$50 for the same chicken wings that you can get from the Arab across the street.
Hey man, them Arabs make some good chicken. I do gotta say,
the best chicken.
That chicken be hitting.
Y'all know. I'm gonna leave that alone. Hey, listen, is there any topic that we didn't hit that somebody was like, man, I wish we hit this topic, or you had for whatever reason wanted to talk about it?
Nothing in particular. I just was gonna respond. Darren had asked in the chat what I thought about the Mike Vrabel, Diana Rossini story. I mean, I know that's kind of outside of what we normally topics.
Outside.
But since he asked the question, I'll just answer it really quickly. If you're asking me as a journalist what I think about what Diana Rossini did, I mean, I absolutely think that it's a violation of, journalistic ethics. You just can't be involved in a relationship like that with somebody that you cover directly. I think, regardless of whether it's male or female, I mean, I know a lot of people make an issue out of it because she's a woman reporter, but I mean, you probably have had some male reporters who found themselves in some compromising positions like that as well. So from that standpoint, yeah, I mean, she's damaged her reputation. The market ain't like
her reputation.
Huh?
How does she damage her reputation?
You're a professional journalist involved in a relationship with a source that you cover. I mean, that's going to damage your credentials as a journalist because you're compromised. It's like everything that she reported on him or reported from that. It's like how you know that wasn't pillow talk, that she was reporting for his benefit, right? Like,
but to my mind, I heard people make that honest. I thought it was sexist. Because, I mean, nobody ever showed me any news stories where she showed some favorability or that were ever in question. Like,
sure.
Why are we questioning her integrity?
Ask Philadelphia Eagles fans. Ask Philadelphia Eagles fans and all the stories.
Sexist.
That she was reporting on the AJ Brown trade, and I think there have been numerous instances where they've pointed out that perhaps her reporting or whatnot could have been compromised by her relationship, with Vrabel. And to me, this has nothing to do with. I said if a male reporter, and I'm sure there probably have been other male reporters who've been involved in compromising situations with other women, that the sex of the journalist has little to do with sort of crossing that ethical line of, keeping an arm's distance from people that you cover. Jamel Hill talked about this. Like she talked about quit covering. I can't remember. I think it was Michigan State. Jamel Hill talked about she quit covering Michigan State because she felt like she was getting too friendly with people in the athletic director's office. And she felt like that compromised her as a journalist.
All right, I get it. Did you?
How many men have said that?
How
many men have come forward and said that?
What? That
the journalist, who said, "I think I'm getting too close to him." So,
I don't know. I mean, like a lot of this stuff has come out because this is a high profile, salacious, scandalous case. No doubt about it. I mean, a coach, a married coach getting it on with a married reporter. I mean, that's TMZ 101 right there. I mean, that's what's got people talking about. I mean, somebody like me, if I was caught up in that wouldn't be making national headlines because nobody cares about,
I'd be talking about it.
Yeah, nobody would
Me
care about
too.
that.
I tell everybody.
Oh man, don't try that, Kevin. Try to slide that in.
That story ain't gonna. All I'm saying, that story ain't gonna be on TMZ or ESPN. It might make for good hot mic chatter, but it ain't going.
I think it was bigger than life because she was a woman.
Thank you.
That's what I think, and maybe I'm wrong, but
I think it's bigger than life because he was a football coach. Because he's the story. I never heard her name before.
And that's true. I think there's an element of that that's true, right? That I don't even think people who took the pictures of Vrabel with her even had a clue who she was. Like the story, to Damon's point, the reason this is a story is because of him, not because of her. She's sort of, unfortunately, kind of like the collateral damage that came as a part of that.
Yeah. Hey, I do have one thing for you guys. I think I asked you if you think you're leaving this place worse than what you got. And I want to give you these stats really quick so you can think about them. Black women unemployment rate was less than 3.8%. It is now over 7.1%. Professional Black women have lost between 300 to 600,000 jobs since all this took place. If you don't think that we are leaving this place worse than we found it, you're not keeping up with the data that says that we are not supporting educated Black women, whether educated or not, just Black women, period. They are actually treating us almost like they were treating Black men, which I never was okay with either. And it is getting worse. So I want you guys to go look at some data, and you can look at the day you was born till now. And if you still say we're not leaving it worse, we need to have a private conversation because you're missing something. Because I need you to know right now we are not doing our jobs.
But so we all agree with David Banner. We all agree with Banner.
Huh?
We all agree with David Banner. Oh, data point.
Do we all agree with David Banner in terms of what?
I just said you can't say holistically everything, but I do agree that we are not. Before we even talked about David Banner, I said that I don't think we're leaving this place as good as when we got it. We had people fight for some of our rights that we just let someone. And it started when we allowed them to do, to me, when we allowed them to do what they did with Kaepernick, when we all said it was okay for a person with skills to be boycotted and treated like that for no good reason. It was just one of the things that we all allowed to happen, if you ask me. And
how did we allow it to happen? I didn't like it.
But
hold on, Alandes. I didn't let anything happen. How did we allow it to happen?
No, what I'm saying is that we still watch the NFL. We still supported everything that was going on. And this man lost his job because he stood up for something.
So are you saying that the female unemployment data said that you just quoted?
No, I just gave an example of things that
I'm gonna say don't say that Colin Kaepernick is the reason why Black women ain't getting jobs.
Hold on for a second. No, hold on for a second. Do I need to actually get more information for you to chew on? Besides, that was just one data point because I'm a Black woman.
I'm ribbing you a little bit, Alandes.
Okay. All right, because I'm like, what?
Well, we got to be careful. Well, no. So what happens is our leaders fall short so much, and I'll call Kaepernick a leader because when Kaepernick did what he did, he was leading, and I stopped watching football. Probably Nathan probably stopped watching football. Well, maybe not. He's a Bengals fan, but we stopped watching football, and that's what gave Kaepernick the leverage. But then Kaepernick went and sold us out by signing some non-disclosure and taking some settlement money, and then disappearing. We haven't seen Kaepernick.
He has not
disappeared. He has not disappeared.
He has not disappeared at all.
We wanted him to get a check and take off.
We did.
That was the point. He didn't do anything bad when he did that. That was the point.
No,
he compensated. I give to it every.
He signed a non-disclosure, so now he can't talk about it anymore.
Nothing else to talk about. He got paid. That was the whole point.
Yeah,
we don't even know how much he got paid. I boycotted football.
It doesn't matter. It was good enough for him.
The check.
It doesn't. It was good enough for him to settle and take it. He seems happy. That was the point, Damon.
No, but that's the thing, though. I boycotted football for all of Black people, and then
but this is what happened. But this is what happened next. Right now, professional athletes, and I know this, they are not allowed to use their voice like they would want to use it in this day and time. They're told not to. And then they look at what happened with Kaepernick. Like we keep silencing people. And every time we do that, we're just waiting on the next group to silence people. And it's happening.
What happened to Kaepernick? He got paid.
Kaepernick wanted to play football, and he stood up for
the check.
Can we just say, so I think a lot of these
check.
things are always more. First of all, let's just say this. When Kaepernick took his stance, he was not a starting quarterback. Kaepernick was on the bench. He was on the bench. So I'll just say this, and other people have said this, that Kaepernick wasn't saying that when he had the starting job. You didn't hear Kaepernick saying nothing until he was on the bench, and then that's when he started. Now that's not.
Do you remember what happened?
I'm minimize the issue. I'm just stating facts.
Do you remember what happened that made him say something?
We say that Colin Kaepernick was already on his way to NFL irrelevancy. He was playing behind a dude who was a washed up bust. He was he couldn't even beat out Blaine Gabbert for the start. I mean, people who might not be familiar with the NFL, Blaine Gabbert was dumpster juice. And this is the dude that Colin Kaepernick was playing behind when he started all of this. So again, I'm not going to diminish the boycott and what he did and all of that. Great. But
what he did and all of that, that's all you're going to say?
Let's not ignore context.
You're going to disrespect him like that, Kevin?
Yeah, because it wasn't
it's
even
the
about
truth.
What he did and all of that, that's what you're going to call it?
What?
The brother took a stance on the National Football League's center stage, the NFL.
What they
and
got
it
to
cost
do with
him his
what they got to
job,
do with
and you're going to disrespect. I'm just saying, you disrespected him, bro. That's all I'm saying. That's disrespectful.
What is the stance that he took?
Just like you
disrespect me saying he was a backup who wasn't even playing at the time. Because the argument is that Colin Kaepernick ain't in the NFL because of what he did. Maybe in part that's true, but they gave that brother an opportunity to come back and try to play, and he messed over it. You
know what, Kevin?
If those are facts.
Okay, it's not facts. Everything
it absolutely is facts, Alandes.
Okay. All right.
All the NFL teams had set up a workout for this brother. This brother did not go to the workout and instead went to a high school to work out. That's facts.
Okay, so
you may not like those facts, but that's the facts.
Okay, so listen to this, Kevin. I need for you to really, really understand this piece, because something isn't about just that moment. It's about what it drove, what they did with Kaepernick. So it's a reason why the president, I think he was the president at the time, the little knucklehead that's president now, it was a reason why he got on national and said to get rid of Kaepernick. You know why? Because he wanted to stop his voice. See, you're looking at it just from one side. And I need you to broaden those horizons, because that allows us to look at different dynamics.
Kaepernick is one man.
Let me finish.
Kaepernick is one man.
You talking about
the voice is not Kaepernick's alone.
Oh my God.
That's the problem.
You know what?
I'm
not talking about just about the San Francisco. I'm not just talking about that moment. I'm talking about what it drove. I'm talking about how it actually made other athletes get quiet because they wasn't sure what, and their voices are needed, especially in that day and time. I'm talking about if Kaepernick was such a loser, we wouldn't think that the president would have needed to actually get on and say, I don't want to see him anymore. That decided everything he did was wrong.
You really think that was about Kaepernick?
And you didn't even know it was. It was about our voice. What is wrong?
Precisely. And that voice would have been there with or without Colin. No. Again, you get me into a conversation that I'm not trying. I simply made the statement.
I think something wrong with you. But
no, ain't nothing wrong with me. Ain't nothing wrong with me. You just something wrong with your hearing.
I don't think you're listening. Kevin, I know that you're smart. So Kevin, I know that you're smart, right? I know that you're smart.
Very much so. Yes.
I do. I've talked to you. I know that you're smart. So I want you to listen to something. The consequences of what happened with Kaepernick was intentional. They weren't unintentional competition. This is bigger than football. This is that a brother decided to use his voice, whether he's on the bench or not, right? He was in the NFL. Most people make assumptions about what you have in your pocketbook and everything when it comes to the NFL. He had a platform and a voice. They took it away from him. You're talking about just the game of football. I'm talking about how it impacted other athletes that I know that had to calm their voice down because they didn't know what would happen to them.
The NFL is 72% or 80% black athletes.
Okay,
Alandes.
so you are still.
If they decide to get rid of all 72 or 80% of those black athletes, see, this is the conversation. This is why I'm gonna kill this conversation right now, because you want to talk about what the fans didn't do to boycott the NFL. If 72 or 80% of the black players in the NFL had stood with Colin Kaepernick and said, "We're not gonna play," end of story. But that
I agree with that.
But that
I
didn't
did not disagree with that. You didn't even know the man had his own Know Your Rights campaign. I am not disagreeing with any of that. I didn't blame just us. I said we allowed what happened to Kaepernick to actually influence and impact what people might have stood up and said when it comes to professional athletes. That's what I'm saying. I think we're saying maybe a little bit of the same thing, because I wasn't saying it's just this person or this person or this person. I wasn't talking about one individual. Is that making sense to you a little bit?
Yeah, I just
agree
think
with
on
Alandes
that
on
particular
everything.
subject, if we want to talk about the NFL and the impact, those 72 to 80% of players saying we ain't gonna play would have had way more impact.
Absolutely.
Would have had way more impact. And we're talking about a smaller number of people. When you're talking about a national boycott, you're talking about trying to get millions of people to acquiesce and agree to not watch football.
I don't even think it was just football.
Getting 70 to 80% of NFL black players to say we're not playing because we agree, that's a much easier get and would have shut the whole conversation down. I'm just saying.
I agree, but here's the other thing, is that it impacted other professional athletes' voices. They knew what they were doing. They were extremely intentional. It was a reason why they did it and why they changed the narrative of the reason why he was even protesting in the first place. It was bigger than just football. Yeah, and it impacted the voices of professional athletes.
What do you guys make of this argument that people are talking about right now? Some people are saying that because black people have lost some of their, voting equity, then big time African-American black athletes should not go down to these southern states to play football. We're talking about the SEC, which is the #1 conference in football. Do you think that's fair to put that weight on athletes? Is that fair?
I think as individuals, we need to put it on all of us to do everything that we can in our whatever we can. And I'm not telling them what to do. We just all individually supposed to do our best.
So let me couch it this way. Let me couch it this way. So I want to get to the realness of it. I want you to answer as if you are the parent of one of those SEC. Let's say your kid is the kid that everybody is saying, got a good shot to go pro if they can get to the right program that's got the right visibility. You're that kid's parent. How do you answer this question about, I'm supposed to boycott now, and we've been working for this for the last 10 years? He already got Auburn's been to the house. Texas has been to the house. Florida has been recruiting him. Are they supposed to just give all that up? And I want Fame to go first because we got a caller on the line. What's up, Fame?
Hey, how y'all doing?
What's up, bro?
What's up, Fame?
How's everybody? Yeah, hey, Kevin. Tuesday, I must admit, I thought you had a very lackluster performance, but you redeemed yourself today because you could have bodied that lady on the Kaepernick thing, and you used diplomacy instead. I'm proud of you.
Tell me about this lackluster performance. Let me get there first. Tell me about this Don't let them get away with this moment. What are you talking about?
Tuesday when he was talking about the First Amendment auditor, You know what I'm saying? I thought his explanation was kind of like,
Where was this at?
on your show.
Oh,
We
okay.
talking about the dude that
I was like, this
that
ain't the
made-
Kevin Aldridge I know. Like
Yes,
this,
yeah.
you
He
know
was.
what I'm
He was
saying?
there.
I don't know who this weak MC is. This ain't the Kevin Aldridge I know. But listen,
Wait, what
but
was he supposed to do to me too? You said he was supposed to do what? Because of the Kaepernick thing I said?
it might be something out of your era. I'm sorry. You know, we just talking with our era. I apologize. It wasn't to
Oh no, I just didn't understand what you were saying. That's what I
body
was
you.
Body me.
He could have zipped you up. He
Oh
could have
yeah.
zipped you up.
Okay. You don't know.
Lyrically, of
I get it.
course. But I think you kind of compromised. I think you kind of conflicted yourself, man, because earlier you were saying, you know, we're not leaving the place better than we should, but you want these athletes to. You think that they should be involved in politics, like what Nathan was saying.
I didn't
My
ask him to
point
be
was,
involved in politics.
that's what I'm hearing.
No, I
Maybe
asked him to stand up for what's going
right.
on.
Why do kids have?
Yeah. Huh?
Listen, the Democratic Party has been controlling the black community for 60 years. Why can't my son live out his dream that he's been working on since he was 10?
I didn't say he shouldn't.
Well, you want these athletes to do what you
No,
elders
you
should be
didn't.
doing.
You
What you
must have
elders
came
should have
in.
been done.
You didn't hear everything I had to say, apparently. I was saying how they
Okay, here comes the
strategically
sass, but go
used
ahead.
our voice to shut it down based on what happened with Kaepernick and put people in fear. So
Kaepernick's got nothing to do with college football.
that's what I said. And it was bigger than just the moment you're talking about. So that's probably why he didn't body me or whatever. I am just saying that what I was saying was much more strategic and bigger than one thing. And so you're taking one thing, and I don't know how to do one thing. I do like 10 things at a time. It's called strategic thinking.
There you go.
Turning point when Travis Hunter.
Nathan, it's the sass for me. It's the sass for me. But listen, I think we're dead wrong asking these kids to do what Lincoln Ware's generation could have been taken care of. You know, some of this stuff, and you know, so to ask a young man to
Didn't they take care of World War II?
No.
Hey, look at
This generation.
I'm talking about the civil rights. I'm talking about civil rights.
You want them to chew your food for you too? I mean, what else you want them to do? They handed you a booming economy. They tried to fight racism as good as they can and put food in your belly, and you talking about you want them to do more.
He come out here selling black folks Queen City sausages like it's a delicacy. Those black folks ain't in shape for all that. To be selling sausages on the radio. What are you talking about?
It's called a sponsorship. Like the reason why
it's called a sellout. It's called a sellout. I'm gonna sell out the black community, knowing we got problems with high blood pressures, knowing we got problems with high blood pressure and obesity. I'm gonna sell the black community some damn sausage.
He ain't got no control over that, man. You know that. You know he got to read them commercials, man. Come on now.
Yeah, you got to read commercials. Yes, if you want likes on, you got to read commercials.
Somebody from Radio 1, one of the other black employees was supposed to stand up and say, I don't think this is a proper endorsement for this community that we serve.
This is what you've gotten out of Lincoln Ware Show all these years, is they had a sausage commercial. That's what you got out of Lincoln Ware all these years.
Yes. I lost respect for him.
I mean, when you 7?
When he started selling Franks. I lost respect for him. I lost respect for him when he started hustling Franks on the radio.
You lost respect for him because he got a sponsor to generate income to pay him to do the show that you like to watch.
Okay.
Stop it.
We don't need to go down the rabbit hole because I know Elmer was like, like the white man of love for the black community. But I do want to say this.
What?
Also, now it was something else that I wanted to bring up, and I just lost it. So let me hop off of here. But now it's nice talking to y'all. I'll catch you on next Tuesday whenever you come back. No, I forgot it that quick. Yeah, that's all I got, man. It's late in the show.
You gotta go get that Queen City sausage. You gotta get out.
That's the best I got on the work night. I'm sorry.
Who are you?
I'm Fame Rothstein. Ain't nobody you ain't heard?
No.
Oh, you better go look me, Google me, Suge.
Oh, Google me.
I did.
We're gonna
That's why I
Google each
called
other.
in.
We're gonna
That's
Google
why I
each other.
called in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Why you coming in all sassy? What's wrong
Because
with
you
you?
came in talking about
Why
somebody
you
supposed
acting
to
like
body
that?
me.
I can't disagree with you.
You're supposed to body me. I'm like,
You
what
did
is
say
that?
that.
I thought
You
Kevin
Didn't he
could
say
have.
that?
I thought
And
he was
listen,
very
He did say
diplomatic
that.
listen.
in
You came
saving
in
your
talking about
reputation.
somebody needed to body me, and
I
black
didn't
men
say he
usually
needed
give
to. I
me.
said he
Why
could
don't
have.
you give me a little more respect than that? I require it. And
Kevin,
you
listen,
came
I
in
think you need to
saying that
respect
without
Kevin a
even
little
knowing
more.
who I was.
Kevin is the voice of reason of the city for
Kevin is not always the voice
for
of
the
reason.
newspaper of record. He
No,
deserves your respect.
I give him my respect, and I
There's gonna be a
deserve
school
respect.
named after him
I
in 10 years.
deserve. Okay, just so you know, we all deserve respect.
What you talking
I
about?
just
That's
Hey,
don't know
Kevin
man,
what you're
Aldridge.
talking
take
about.
his name off there, man. Get him
There's
off
4
there.
Kevin
I'm
Aldridges in
still
his
trying to
family.
figure out
We
why
got
you
the most
mad at me
prominent
because
one.
of his sausage.
Oh
You up here talking about
my
that?
See,
You done
God.
got nasty.
And
All
you
right,
talking
Nate.
about, and you
I'll
talking
holler.
about we didn't do
man.
enough.
No,
We didn't do
so
enough. I'm
This
63
man
years old.
is
We did, or
hilarious.
63. We did enough.
I have to
Yeah,
disappear
yeah,
as
I did
well.
know.
But before I disappear, I want to let y'all know on TikTok, my little brother is on Issa Rae's show called Screen Time. They just released the second half of it. So go check out my little brother on
Wait
Issa
a minute.
Rae's platform on
Your
TikTok.
real little brother?
Yeah, my real little brother, Eric
Like
Lynch.
grew up in the house with little brother?
Yeah. He's an actor out in Los
Oh, okay.
Angeles. He's on Issa
Man,
Rae's
what's that
show.
like?
Which way?
I mean, just having a brother that's on TV.
It's amazing because every now and then he can catch a commercial. Yeah, it's amazing. He's doing his thing out in Los Angeles.
That's cool.
So catch
Cool.
him
Hey,
on
man,
TikTok.
ask him to come on the show.
Let's
get him on the show.
I'll ask him. Peace out to everybody. Shout out to the chat.
All
I
right.
wish I could answer the chat every time I see little stupid things in the chat. If I was by myself, I'd be like, "What? My daddy? What?" But the chat people.
Hey, Damon, I wanted to get before Fame got off. I wanted to get him because he tried to get a shot off against your daddy last time he was on here that I didn't appreciate. And your dad is my man, so I owe Fame a stray bullet for that comment he got off last week. Next time I see him, I'm gonna get him.
So his name is Fame Kevin.
His name is Fame. He's about to break it.
Yeah.
So he's just like a comedian or something.
No, he's a frequent Lincoln Ware caller. He's one of those. He's one of the Lincoln Ware circus.
Okay, I got you.
And now he's in the hot mic circus too.
We didn't get to everything, but that's okay. It's a Friday and it's raining outside anyway, so I appreciate your time. I really do. Is there anything anybody want to put out there before we leave? We good?
Not really. Just want to say, man, look, I love everybody's commentary on here, and look, it's not about any one person being right all the time. I think it's about perspective, that we all see things a little bit differently. And I love mixing it up today with Alandes. She didn't take the razor to me like Terrace, so I'm appreciative of that. I know Fame said I could have bought the body, but I also know that Alandes carried that sharp razor with her. She cut you don't even know you cut. So I appreciate her holding back, because there was a couple times I know she probably wanted to get me today, but it's all good. The last thing I would just add on to kind of because I think this is a good conversation just to have more regularly, just about some of the to Alandis' point, if we do feel like we're behind and we're losing ground, we got to figure out how do we start gaining ground. Like that's the real thing here. It's not about any of us, fighting with each other or trying to, denigrate people's blackness or whatever. The fact of the matter is we all pay the skin tax, whether you realize it or not. And so we're all fighting the same battle. We may just see different ways on how we get there. But the fact of the matter is that I think we all are trying to pull in the same direction to get to a better place where we can get more of that piece of that American dream that we're entitled to. And but it takes hard conversations, man. It's hard conversations about the culture. It's hard conversations about each of our part in it and what we're doing and where we may be compromising that we shouldn't, and where we're quiet, where we're not going to be, where we shouldn't be. And I think Fame outlined something that I think we all need to recognize and appreciate, right? Just using a small example of the Lincoln Ware sausage commercial, okay? Fame was like, nah, we shouldn't be asking these kids to sacrifice going to college to make us stand on something else. We shouldn't be asking them to do that, but we should ask a man who needs to pay the bills to keep his radio show alive to not take advertising in order to do that. It's like everybody has in their mind what somebody else ought to be willing to compromise to move the group forward. Okay. But the question is always, what are you willing to give up?
Exactly.
It's easy to tell somebody else they ought to give up their money. They ought to give up their opportunity.
So can we be real here?
Mobility for the cause when they wouldn't be willing to do the same thing.
Absolutely. And that's why I asked the question, if you were the parent of one of those athletes. And so I'll re-ask it. What do you do? What do you tell your kid?
I mean, I tell my kid, you make the decision. Like, I think that's how you train up these young kids today. If you raise a kid in a socially conscious household and you're teaching them all the right things, it's his future. As a parent, I don't have the ability to tell a kid who has worked his entire life for an opportunity what he should do. If he wants to make that decision to take a stand for his people, then let that be his decision.
Yeah, my question lets you out. That's not what we're trying to get to. I want to know what you would do. So let's assume that you do get to make
the decision. If you were the student
and you make a choice, is this something you consider?
No, I mean, let me make it easier for you then. Because if I'm the student and I got a full ride to Alabama, I also have a full ride to almost any other school in America. So now I'm 18 years old and I get a chance to make history. I'm going to USC. And I'm saying I didn't go to Alabama because they are racist or whatever, right? So and then Travis Hunter did it. Travis Hunter followed Deion Sanders to the black school, right? But so you got to be that guy. You got to be that guy, and you got to make sure that your other options are willing to accept you.
Right. And that's
here's why that may be a little bit more.
Sharpen it just a little bit, Kevin, real quick for the sake of the conversation. Let me sharpen it. You are absolutely right. We're only talking about that top 100.
Yeah.
We ain't talking about the people that's mediocre. We're talking about the kind of guys, the kind of athletes that's got multiple choices. They've got an Ohio State calling and they got a Florida calling. We're talking about them. And that's the key demographic, because that's who the clicks and all of the movie rights and movie live streaming, that's what it's all about, the stars. So if you are the parent of one of those kids and you got to make that decision, what do you do?
So in theory, that sounds good. But again, as I say, there's a lot of factors that go into that decision if I'm making it as an athlete. Here are just a few. Yeah, I may have a lot of options, but there's a reason why I have a first option, right? Maybe I grew up wanting to go to Alabama. That's my dream school. Maybe I like the coach. Maybe their system fits me better than USC and what I like to do. Maybe if I go someplace else, I'm not the starter. I'm behind another guy. So there are a lot of factors that go into a decision that one makes beyond just I got a bunch of options. I could go to a team that's lesser and my talents not really get to show, and that messes up my draft propositions. I go from, instead of being a top 5 pick, to a top 20 pick or in the second round. So these are all things that individuals are considering just in the athletic realm that goes just beyond a simple decision. So I get it. It sounds good in theory. And that's why I'm saying we got to do a little more mental gymnastics than just what sounds easy, because it never truly is.
So it sounds like to me, your calculation wouldn't just be this political stance. Like for some people, I imagine they would say, oh, I'm not going just because of what they did in terms of the redistricting. And that would be enough to make them go wherever they had to go. Does anybody feel that way?
I think that I would have raised my child to understand, to look at everything and to make decisions based on who they want to be and who they want to represent in that situation, and made sure they completely understood it. And then the second thing is, I would ask the question, what could happen to my child there through all of this? And how are they impacted? Because not everyone, we're talking about the less than 1%ers that might make it to the NFL. You got to remember, most don't that go to college. And they still need to be able to get into that environment and understand what they're doing. So my child probably wouldn't have chose that in the first place. Do you know what I'm saying? Even as a great athlete, because it's bigger than that. It's when we become who we're going to become. And if we've raised them the right way, they might come to me and tell me they're not going. But I do think they would be at an age to actually make that decision. But you need to make sure they understand the intended or unintended consequences with that decision. And this is what I'll say. Even when I say collectively, we all owe something to our lives and what we're living and our neighbors and everything and the people who look like us. And so if we're all doing our part, then we will be in a much better place. But sometimes we're not all doing our part or thinking through it. I would just make sure my child thought through it.
And here's the other thing you got to look at too, I think, in this. The way the story is presented, they were talking about a collective movement, or at least a significant number of athletes doing this to the point where it would get recognition. One guy saying, hey, I'm not going to go to Alabama, I'm going to go to USC over this, maybe a story for a day, maybe a story for 2 days, but it's not going to have the kind of gravity or impact that those who are proposing this would have if you don't get a mass of students making this decision. So that's the other calculation that may go into it. You may be saying to yourself, okay, well, if I do this, how many other college athletes are going to do this to where it is going to make the kind of larger statement that might actually make a difference? That's why if it's an individual choice, to Alandes's point, understanding like, hey, if this is something that you believe in for you, your conviction is where you want to stand, this is you got to go into a decision like that with that. It can't be like, okay, I'm only going to do this if 50 of the other top recruits do it, right? Because it may not, you just doing it by yourself, it may not have the same impact or the national story. Like, absolutely. I think if the top player in the country said, I'm not going to Alabama, I'm going to someplace else because of this, you best believe that's going to be a news story and a talker for a limited amount, but eventually that's going to go away. What we're talking about is stuff that's going to have a standing and a lasting impact. Which I think
but you can't think like that, or else we would not have movements that's changed our lives without that first person. And that first person is normally who has to stand up. When we think about our collective power, and I don't want to think about Target, our collective power. That was I haven't been back to Target. I don't even know if we're still mad at them. But that was our somebody had to decide that. And then we all had to stand. We have so much power together. So I would never say that you need to follow the leader. You need to be the leader. And then look back and see who's following you.
I'm also
saying I think that
you did it wrong.
Yeah, no, I think you're saying exactly what I think. Somebody who does that, who stands on that, that's where I said it has to be a personal conviction. You're doing it because this is what you believe that you're going to stand on. I think sometimes the way it gets looked at, some people may make the calculation, yeah, I might do this if several other people do it. But a lot of people have that mentality that they don't want to be the first one out the gate. They'll join in if other people do it, but it usually is the bravest, the most, the people who are most committed to an idea who step out first. And then, as you said, Alandes, everybody else kind of gets behind them. So maybe you do have that.
Let me show you something here since we're still sitting here. This story of this woman who got into an altercation, 75 years old, just breaks my heart. She got into an altercation at Tim Hortons. And she ended up losing her life. Check this out.
Coffee shop in Indiana, a violent confrontation, a 75-year-old customer and the 17-year-old clerk, that customer collapsing and dying. Here's Aaron Katursky.
Tonight, an elderly woman's family is trying to figure out how an argument over the wrong coffee shop order ended in her death.
My mother was wronged in the worst way. I lost the matriarch of my family. I need to at least know how, why.
Police in Fort Wayne, Indiana said 75-year-old Anita Grayson entered Tim Hortons to complain about her drive-through order and started arguing with the 17-year-old behind the counter. You can see a coworker then step between them before the customer appears to hit the younger worker first. That employee's manager then pushes the customer and the two tumble to the floor, where police said Grayson ripped out a chunk of the employee's hair. Minutes after the fight, Grayson was seen on the floor, and when police arrived, they found her unresponsive. Her daughter said she had heart trouble, and the family is upset over the whole thing and how it could even happen.
You should not enter a coffee shop for a coffee and a donut and come out unalived. That is diabolical.
Yeah, I mean, isn't that crazy? That is wild. And like some people was tripping because like some of the preliminary reports made it seem as if the woman who lost her life was the perpetrator, but then somebody went back and zoomed in and they found out that the worker actually got in front of her and shoved her and she was responding. But for me, I'm like, she's 75. You working at Tim Hortons. She get up in your face. Okay. She pushed you a little bit. Okay. She's 75. The way I saw that person, that much younger person react to that woman, I thought was just overkill. I mean, she knocks her down and she's hitting her. I'm like, she's 75.
Did they jump her in the end?
What'd you say, Damon?
Was it two people? Were they jumping her at the end? It looked like it was two people jumping.
It was two people initially that was over by the fryer or somewhere near, the behind the counter area, and only one person responded. I'm like, why would you go that far with a 75-year-old woman? I don't know. It just makes you think. But here's a question: Are these small conflicts becoming deadly because society changed, or because people changed?
Nah, that lady had a heart
By
attack.
society, I mean the things that we value, the things that we find permissible. Like what? Do you guys agree with me that young woman should never, that she over responded? Can we agree that if a 75-year-old person, she hits you, she nudges you, you got to just let that go. You can't hit them back like it's somebody that's your age and fitness level. Are we right about that? Can we agree on that?
Here's what I would say. I think what we have a problem with right now in our society is everybody is mad. And what sets people off, the smallest thing can set people off now. And they take things way too far over little things than they should, right? And who knows, it could be something they got going on in their life, whatever. But it's like, it doesn't take much these days to ramp people up. So again, I don't know all of the details about this, but I don't know what this 75-year-old woman came in and said to those people behind the counter because they're. Does
it matter?
It does. It does, Nathan. Here's why. No, I'm not saying it matters from the standpoint of that you do something to a 75-year-old woman. What I'm saying is that we all got to be accountable for our behavior and our words for the simple fact that you don't know what people will do to you these days.
You're blaming the victim.
No, I'm not blaming the victim.
She's an elder, Kevin.
No, that's not what. Hear me.
She's an elder.
Listen, use your ears, Nathan, and you'll hear me. Is that everybody is responsible for what they do and what could potentially happen. Now, if I come in, if you got my order wrong, all I simply have to do when I come in to the restaurant is say, hey, I ordered some fries and a Coke, and y'all gave me an orange drink. Can I get my orange drink back, please? Now, if I come in off the chain, yelling, cussing people out, y'all can't never get S right and blah, blah, blah.
It don't matter. She's a 75-year-old elder, Kevin.
I don't know what this lady said.
It doesn't matter what she said, Kevin.
It does.
She's a 75-year-old elder.
Nathan,
you give them pass.
Can I
give them grace?
Let me get my whole point out.
Your brother.
What you do begins an escalation. right? Now, I'm not saying that the team had to respond to the lady's escalation the way that they did. I would never hit a 75-year-old if you're a 17-year-old. There should be a modicum of respect there that says no matter what this lady says, she's 75, I'm not trying to get into it with her like that. But the reality is, when you push people's buttons, they may not respond the way that they should.
She deserved that, Kevin, is what you're trying to say? That 75-year-old woman deserved that?
Nathan, why do you always have to go to deserve versus cause and effect? Cause and effect and deserved is not the same thing. Because I get in my car and I drive out in the street and get into an accident don't mean I deserved it. But what my actions are when I'm behind the wheel might create the environment.
So you don't believe in giving older people grace, Kevin? Because you're going to be an older person. Do you believe in giving older people grace? Yes or no?
So
okay, so yes, somebody in the comments said,
everybody don't think like me.
Somebody in the comments said, so what? You know, an older person cuss you out, you're supposed to let it go? Yes, you're supposed to let it go.
Nathan,
yes.
Okay,
you're supposed to let it go.
Nathan, you have said this. You have said
okay,
this.
ma'am, realize she's older. She might have some things going on, maybe some dementia, and you leave the premises. You leave her alone. That's what you do.
I'm not going to let you get away with this because you've said this many times on this show before, and it's the point that I'm trying to make. You have said on this show, hey, man, you just can't be out here talking crazy to people because you don't know who's holding. You don't know what they might do. That's why I just mind my business and keep it pushing.
I'm not talking about elders. Elders are exempt from all that.
Nathan,
they're supposed to be exempt.
Whether you're an elder or not.
It does matter. Yes.
What that
if you're older, it matters differently. At least this is what's wrong with our society.
No, it doesn't.
This is what's wrong with our society. We don't respect our elders. We don't respect our elders. If I'm that worker and she come over to me doing all that, she can throw me and hit me in the side of the can with a drink. I'm not gonna attack her.
Nathan,
she's 75.
You know what? I guarantee you, if you ask,
I'm not gonna attack some older woman because she lost it. I'll be okay. And we keep it popping. I put another uniform on. We get the police here, but I'm not gonna put my hands on her. That's wrong.
First of all, anybody walking around here these days without a self-awareness that if you escalate a situation, somebody might do something to you. I don't care whether you're a senior or whether you're a teen. You can't be that foolish and that oblivious to the fact to know that in these days and times, I ain't talking about what it used to be or what it should be. Again, this is where y'all get me mixed up. Y'all always want to have these conversations about what it should be. And what do I say all the time? I talk to you about what it is. And these days, you can't just go around talking fly, especially with some of these young ones out here today. So that old lady, I'm not saying she deserved it. I'm not saying she deserved it, but that old lady should have been walking around with that awareness that let me just go in here and get my order corrected. I don't know what she said. Again,
she might get attacked by. I mean, she tackled this woman. The woman fell straight back and hit her head.
I'm not saying
got on top of her and kept hitting a 75-year-old person.
I don't know what the lady said.
It doesn't matter what she said. That's savage. That's a savage, cold world.
Let's just say this. It doesn't make it right. And I don't know what happened with you, Kevin, because the Bible says honor your mother and father, honor your elders. It's all
I'm not saying any of that.
Let me just say it, right? And so what happens is that when we're having conversations, it's not about what they're doing. It is about what's right. It goes back to your comment about about morals, what you talked about earlier. So if we're having a conversation about this, shouldn't we bring up the morals that we know? Is that, first of all, and I see you rolling your eyes too. I could see them even behind your glasses just now. I am really just saying, you said it. You said it yourself. And really and truly, when it comes to that, they are supposed to respect elders, and you don't know what she could have been going through. And it is something about how long we've walked the earth and whether people should respect that walk. And it should happen almost automatically. But we've raised kids to say what they want and to be self-thinkers and to do this without understanding. Sometimes respect is just deserved because we've been living here longer. And we didn't make that up. The Bible told us that's what we should be doing.
So if we're gonna spit the Bible, Alandes.
I'm not just spit. I'm just saying
the Bible. You don't get the squirt. You don't get.
Okay, so why don't we just go back to what you said earlier about morals? That's what you said.
I'm not disagreeing with anything that you and Nathan said. Let me just say this: did the woman deserve to get beat up to the point where she had a heart attack?
I don't know.
No, she did not. Okay, let's get that on the record. She didn't deserve that. Should young people respect their elders? Absolutely, they should. Should everybody respect everybody and not talk crazy to them, regardless of whether you're old or young? Yes, they should. So we can't just apply Bible principles to young people and seniors get a pass because they've been here longer. No, you don't get a pass from you don't get a pass from being respectful to people regardless of your age. Being old don't entitle you to be disrespectful.
It should.
It don't. No, it doesn't.
Listen to this. My child, listen to this.
Older people
get the chance. The way I raised my children.
Nobody has the right to disrespect somebody.
Kevin, you want it both ways. The way I've raised my children is they better not. I don't care if she popped them upside the head. Neighbors could pop you if you were wrong.
They could, but should they?
I think. Listen. Okay, I'm gonna write this down so the next time when you contradict,
I'm just asking you, where does it say in the Bible, thou shalt be allowed to cuss out somebody even though you're 90 years old? Where does it say that? Point that scripture out to me. That says you don't have to conduct yourself.
I did not say that.
Well,
I did not say that. I said that neighbors used to. I said that neighbors. I quoted the scripture for one piece of our conversation just now.
Okay, but don't one piece, I'm telling you, let's apply all of the principles.
Kevin, all right. Okay. What I said, can I finish with what I said?
Go ahead.
Okay. What I said was, it used to be that your neighbor could pop you. And you said, does that make it right? And then you went to the Bible. I didn't say the Bible said the neighbor could pop you. I said it used to be a time when even your neighbor could correct you, right? Because part of correction comes from love. It's showing love is correction. So the only thing I'm saying is my child would have been trained and know to give that older person respect just for walking in there and I don't care how they showed up, because I'm not sure what they would have been able to tell me if they needed to tell me they cussed at her, they put their hands on her. It's not how we're supposed to be raising our kids to become adults. And yes, you should respect your elders. Absolutely. I believe it. And yes, we're wrong sometimes. But right now, we don't think we have to respect anybody.
I'm glad you said that. So let's not glaze. See, this is what y'all do. Y'all glaze over the yes, we're wrong, but we're wrong, but there is no but. There is no but after there is Alandes. There is no but after I'm wrong. Just leave it there.
I said I may be wrong. But I didn't call myself wrong. I'd never do that.
I look at these older people the same way I looked at my mother. She got older. Sometimes things would slip. Sometimes she'd be irritable. But she paid the cost to do all of that. And these older people have done the same thing in their families and on our neighborhoods. And there should be a respect level you give them. Boy, listen, my son, he wouldn't have never called me. I don't think he would have did it in that same situation. He just would have took it, walked away, because you're not a threat. Now, if that was a threat, if a 90-year-old is threatening your life, you got to do what you got to do. But a little something like that, you just walk away from that. And I just feel like I don't want to see, I don't know what should happen with that 17-year-old that tackled that woman, and I think she had a heart attack. She had a weak heart anyway, and I think it sent her in a cardiac arrest.
Another point that I would bring up.
What's that?
Y'all are totally misrepresenting.
Wait. Is the point you're about to make that a person with heart disease should not be at Tim Hortons? Because you shouldn't make that. That'd be wrong.
No,
is that the point you're trying to make?
Now you're trying to stir up the pot.
Is that the point you're trying to make?
That was not where I was going. Bro. That's not where I was going with that. Hey, Fame might have went there because he already said black people don't need to be eating them Queen City sausages. Fame might have went there. Hey,
he didn't look like he said no to a lot of them.
What I was gonna say was, if you are if you are somebody who has high blood pressure and those types of issues, and again, I'm just speaking off of the limited information here. Again, I keep saying I don't know what the lady said. I don't know what her demeanor was when she walked in there. But if you got heart issues, you really want to get your blood pressure up over getting the wrong order at Tim Hortons. I mean, here's the only thing I'm challenging. This is what I'm challenging.
So let me tell you, that is so like just a strange part of this conversation, because I don't. So now you deciding whether she should have been in there or not.
No, I'm not deciding whether she should have been. This is all about her behavior.
When young people do stuff, the first thing we ask is mental illness. Is it this? Old people do stuff. You talking about they don't deserve to be treated right. I'm just trying to understand. No, and now you're talking about shit.
No, I did not say that. Rewind the tape. Like, did I ever say that old people didn't deserve to be treated right? Did I say that?
No, you said.
I mean, you kind of implied it, boss man.
No,
they don't deserve to be treated with respect just because of their age. And what I'm saying is, they've lived a long time. They've seen more than we have seen. They have experienced more than we have experienced, right? The longer you live, the more you see, the more you experience. And we don't think we're supposed to give them a little respect. And I don't care if they came in mad about some chicken, and I don't care if they wasn't supposed to have chicken, or if they were sneaking chicken. What does that have to do with any of it?
It has everything to do with it, Alandes, because again, you and Nathan, y'all are so on this respect the seniors that y'all are missing what I'm saying. Okay, let me say it again so I can be clear.
Okay, I'm listening.
I believe in respecting seniors. I respect seniors. Never disrespected a senior in my life. If this had been me behind the counter responding to that, wouldn't have responded that way. If it had been one of my kids that I had raised, I would hope my kid would not behave that way. I would teach my kid not to respond that way. I said this before, but I got to slow it down and say it again. So she did not deserve what happened to her. What I'm simply trying to say is advice that I would say to anybody. It's the same thing Nathan has said in this story or in this podcast before.
Yes.
Everybody ain't raised like you and me is raised. Everybody don't think like the three of us think on here. And you got to move in society today, not saying what you think these young kids ought to be able to do or what they should do. You better be preparing for what they might do. And that's what I'm saying she didn't think about when she walked into that Tim Hortons, was that if I go in here and I talk crazy, there could be a YN or somebody behind that counter that ain't going to respond favorably to what I'm saying and might not respect me like a 75-year-old with heart problems. That's all I'm saying. So you need to, this is what I'm saying. If we all move in respect, if we all move in respect, 9 times out of 10, you ain't got to worry about escalating.
I can't disagree with you.
But if I lead with disrespect, I guarantee you right now, Alandes,
older
people
don't have a lot of time,
and they catch you in the right moment. You ain't responding with love.
Older people, they got a lot of like arthritis and stuff, and you got to give older people a lot of latitude. They got a lot of stuff they dealing with, back problems. Sciatica is a real thing. It makes you irritable. So she wanted to go in there and probably get some comfort.
If you got sciatica, what you doing? Driving, walking around, and hey man,
you can have sciatica and do all those things.
Where your family at? Where your family at?
You can do all that stuff with sciatica, and you should. I mean, you can't just become immobilized. That'd be much worse. So you still got to live your life with sciatica. It's extremely painful. She went there to get some comfort food. Who knows what was happening? It happens. Show some compassion.
That's what I'm talking about. Here's the thing, though. I am not buying into this. It's okay for kids to be disrespectful and all of this. I don't care if we're seeing that that's how they do. I'm not buying it. I'm not participating in it. I'm not acting like it's okay, because it's not. If I see it, I would have had something to say. If I end up, somebody take care of me, then you'll know I said what I meant. I meant what I said. I'm not scared of kids. And yes, who knows what might happen? But honestly, most kids want to be corrected. Most kids want structure. They want discipline. They want it. It is a sign of love, whether we think about it or not. But what we don't want as older people is for anybody to tell us what the hell to do or what to eat. So you talking about she shouldn't have been eating? She could eat whatever.
I'm having some fun with that.
To be told what to do or what to eat.
I'm not serious about
Period.
Yeah. But I don't understand why y'all are not getting. Y'all know what I'm saying. Y'all know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying, but
I'm not buying.
Y'all trying to. Yeah, you ain't gotta buy it. She ain't gotta buy it. You see what happened? I'm telling y'all what the reality of the world that we live in is. And if you don't heed what I'm saying, 75 or younger, you can wind up just like this woman. Mess around with these youngsters if you want to. That's up to you. That's up to your choice. Yeah. But I know a whole lot of old people. I know a whole lot of old people who see young kids like that, and they know what I'm saying, and they keep it pushing.
So let me ask you this. So
because everybody ain't got
okay, so let me ask you this. So you think we're leaving this place better than we found it? So we're having this conversation about the up and coming, and we're okay with them being disrespectful of a 75-year-old woman, no matter what she did. And when they do something wrong, we want to ask if it's mental illness or if it was their parents. We don't even put it on them squarely. We try to find their excuse. And you're actually going to continue to say, we leaving this place better than we found it. Well, I think that's enough for you to take with you and think about it. And I'll send you some more information to look at so you can answer the question. Because just because people do it doesn't mean we're supposed to support it. Just because the masses has found a way to keep going doesn't mean we're supposed to support it. We either live who we're supposed to be, or we let everyone scare us to be something we don't want to be.
See, look at LaDonna. She said, I don't mess with look at LaDonna. LaDonna right there said, I don't mess with these kids.
I understand. And that's so are we living? So if we don't mess with them, so they're pretty much scared us now. So if we don't mess with them, what's happening to the next generation? We leaving this place worse.
I think you both will agree with this, though.
Yeah.
I think you both will agree with this. The one thing I took from that video is that whoever the parents of that young woman was that tackled that woman are bad parents. Period. They did not train that baby properly. Because if they had trained that young woman properly, there's no way in the world she would have attacked that older woman. Can we all agree on that?
Look, that goes back to what we were saying about some of the cultural challenges that exist in society, and not just with Black people. You got a lot of kids that are coming up today without supervision, parental supervision, without nuclear families or families with a lot of supports that are around them. And that's a whole other conversation to be had about babies having babies, raising babies. Grandmas and grandpas too old to raise some of these kids now, but they have to because that's the situation that they're in. When we talk about a potentially lost generation of kids today, it's not because they want to be lost. It's because the family structure and support around them is not great. And so, to your point, if we are not as well off as we are, you got to start looking at where do things start for you at home, because that's where everything begins. Everybody on here done said, this is what I would have taught my kids, this, that, da. Obviously, somebody didn't teach these young people that lesson, or if they did, they wasn't preaching it hard enough to where it stuck. Because I firmly believe that if you have a solid household set up with morals, which is where I started out today, you're not going to have kids that react that way. But you got a lot of kids out here that ain't got no morals, ain't got that structure at home, and this is what you get.
No empathy is dead wrong.
Everybody ain't got home training, so you better keep your head on a swivel.
Speaking of that, Speaking of which, no empathy rights. Kids don't get that ass whooped no more. See, that's that. What? That is not it. Alandes shaking her head. That is not it. That is not it.
Some kids.
It is not about a lack of discipline.
Don't. Some kid. Listen.
It's a lack of.
Go ahead.
It's a lack of unhealthy environments.
Okay.
That's what it really is. It's not about the lack of discipline. It's about a lack of healthy environment.
Nate, did you get whoopings?
Yeah, I got whoopings.
Did you get whoopings, Kevin?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Most people that I talk to, and they doing really good in life, and they care about.
We from that generation.
I know, and we got whoopings. And now people act like we done cut somebody out if we talking about whooping. I have one grandchild. She don't need a whooping. Just yelling at her or putting her in a corner. I got another one who worse than me, and I know they need tap. Just a little tappity tap. Everyone's different. Everyone needs correction in some kind of way. I'm not saying everyone needs their butt.
That's not what's missing. Correction is not what's missing. Like, I think people, and I've heard people have this conversation, it always goes in a wrong direction, in my opinion. Meaning that I hear people say, kids don't get whoopings no more. Is that really true? I'm not sure if that's true. I don't know. There's still some type of physical or corporal punishment that's happening on some levels in these households. That's not what's missing. It's not that. It's healthy mom, healthy dad, healthy relationship, healthy boundaries, healthy consequences. That's what it is. That's what they're really missing.
Is what we're talking about. Sometimes consequences is a whooping. Sometimes it's punishment.
They got consequences, but it's hard to take a lesson from a mother. You looking at her and she ain't living the way she's telling you.
I get that.
That's hard to aspire to be an entrepreneur, and you don't got nobody in your family that's ever did anything. Like these unhealthy environments.
Yeah. Okay, but when you allow kids to do what they shouldn't be doing, and they have zero consequences, you are actually you're actually rewarding that behavior by saying nothing, huh?
Yeah, I'm not sure that's an accurate description of what's really happening in terms of the discipline dynamic.
I don't think it's one thing. That's just what I'm saying. It's not just one thing.
Both of y'all are right.
Right, that's what I'm trying to say. It's not.
Yeah, both of y'all are right. I mean, I think you gotta have healthy parents who are setting solid examples for you, not engaged in activity that you wouldn't want your kids to emulate or follow behind. Or at least if you're going to be involved in that activity, you don't do it in the presence of your kids, where they can see that. Like nowadays, you got parents who smoke in front of their kids. They do all kinds of things that, and again, I get marijuana and all of that has become a recreational thing now and is less judgmental than it was. But then when you wonder why you got a lot of these young kids who start smoking as early as 8 or 10 years old, because they see mom and dad doing it around them, and it affects their brain development and all these other sorts of things. You can't say that those things are harmless. What I agree with Alandes is kids need boundaries. They need structure, and they need to be aware of what the consequences are. Now, that may not always be a whooping. That may be, I'm gonna take the cell phone, I'm gonna take the video game. You ain't going out to play with your friends. You can't be
oversimplification. You guys are making the same mistake. You think it's a lack of consequences.
But the reality is,
I don't know if that's true or not in these households.
It absolutely
I'm
is
assuming these kids are getting whooped. They're getting verbal, whatever, correctness checks, whatever. All of that is happening. But when you got an environment that's got so much lack of construction, or the lack of continuity, or the lack of healthy relationships, healthy people, right? That it's hard to view it accurately from just a simplistic
that's what I'm saying.
view.
That's what I'm saying. It takes both, Nathan. It takes both, because even you can have, here's the flip side of that. You can have two healthy parents, right, who are everything that you just said that they did. But if they raise kids without consequences, without discipline, then those kids become entitled.
Who are we talking? This is a fantasy. This is not happening. All parents discipline their children.
How many kids do you see that come from great households, but they are the most entitled, obnoxious, rude, ridiculous kids that you ever want to meet, but that's because their parents don't hold them accountable. They let them get away with murder. There are no consequences for the things that they do. It's human nature. We push boundaries until you run up against the wall and says you can't go any further. It's the hot stove theory. How does a kid learn not to touch a hot stove? You tell them, don't touch that. It's hot.
Again,
and eventually
oversimplification.
they're going to touch it and get burned and understand like, oh, that really is hot. I don't need to talk. I don't need to touch that. It's human nature. Without boundaries and without checks or consequences, then
I don't know why people love to have this boundary conversation about Black parents. It's just something about some people just love to have this conversation about you don't discipline your kids. I don't know where that comes from. It's fascinating. I don't know if it's true or not. I don't think that's what's it. That's not the issue with our babies, that they're not getting disciplined enough. The issue is that many of them are households where they got parents who have unhealthy habits, have had unhealthy habits, and they transfer them unhealthy habits down to their kids because they themselves probably grew up in unhealthy environments. And it's just a sick cycle. It's a vicious cycle. Some of these kids getting beat, but they don't have no structure in their life to reinforce the beatings. So it's almost null and void.
So that's why I said it's the combination of what you and Alandes said. But the main thing, the one thing that ties it all together is love, right? So Alandes talked about discipline is a byproduct of love. The healthy example in the relationship that you talk about it comes from a place of love. I've written this, and I can't tell you how many times people have criticized me for this, is I've said that what we suffer from in Cincinnati more than anything is a deficit of love in this city. And that's why we see so many bullets flying. If you sit down and you talk to just about any kid who has had any kind of behavioral problem, if you peel back the layer enough, there's something that they're not getting from the people who are supposed to love them the most in this world. And I'm telling you, because I've sat down, I'm not speaking from what I think, I'm telling you from what I know from years of having sat down and talk with young kids. And when you peel back the layer, that's what it always gets back to, is some missing love from mom and dad that they didn't have, that is now driving them to negative places because they've never learned how to reconcile that or cope with it or resolve that situation. And so particularly for young men, because I say this, the one thing that young men don't get taught with is how to deal with their emotions, right? Or even identify their emotions sometimes. The one emotion that young men are typically allowed to have and what they often manifest most is anger, right? Because we start from a very young age. Little boy fall off his bike, skin his knee. It hurt. Like you fall down right now. You hurt yourself. You're gonna be in pain. But what's the first thing we tell little boys? Hey man, dry that up. Quit crying. Some will take it. Hey, quit being a punk. These are the messages that you give young boys.
You gotta do that a little bit. Hold on. You gotta do that a little bit. You gotta do that a little bit with a little boy. Right? You gotta do it all the time. There's a little bit you gotta do with that.
You can't do it all the time, but what I'm saying is little boys get that messaging far more than, hey, it's okay to be hurt. It's okay to be embarrassed. It's okay to have your feelings hurt. Like we constantly teach men that if they show any of those kinds of emotions, they're weak. So what is the alternative to that? If I'm feeling all of those things, it's anger. Now I got to whoop you. You said something that embarrassed me. We got to fight. You did something to me that hurt my feelings, you hurt my ego, we got to knuckle up. Or worse more, I got to shoot you because you dissed me, right? That is how young male emotions are being allowed to project because we're not teaching our kids healthy ways to process what they're experiencing in the world. And if you don't have healthy parents who can convey that to kids and set boundaries and consequences, then you get what you get. Or you get what we've got. And Alandes, I'm gonna revisit my point of view on if we better off or not. You've made some compelling arguments. I'm gonna have to go back and do my own research, but I'm not going to dismiss it out of hand like I did earlier.
Okay, that's good. I want us to be better. You know, that's my desire. It is. I just think that I don't know. And I could be wrong, but I'm probably not.
I mean, I was unaware of those statistics about how Black female unemployment. I didn't realize.
Oh yeah, we are getting creamed out here.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was as bad as that.
It is. It's bad out there. But
man, have you guys been paying attention to these killer robots they got in China? They're like, I'm saying killer. I mean, but they're like police robots. They're like walking hand in hand in the streets with human Chinese police officers, like really straight out of sci-fi.
I kept thinking, is it really true or was it AI? You really think they're doing?
I think it's true. I think it's true. Oh yeah, I seen this thing with robots were dancing. They was doing martial arts. I'm like, what in the world? They got robots doing martial arts. What are they gonna have them do next?
Yeah, I mean, we're on that. I mean, look, man, we already know. We talked about it on this show before that we are on, as they continue to develop AI, you know, we are more on the precipice of stuff that we used to think was science fiction, you know, iRobot and all the movies that they did years ago that, you know, you thought was fantasy.
I will say this, though. The thing that happened with the old lady, in our days, we wouldn't have known about it. So it's so much more we know because of the internet, because of things like it's more than we can really even process. Even for adults, better yet, kids, our world is larger than it was meant to be. Do you know what I'm saying? And the internet makes it where we see everything that's going on, and mostly bad, because that's what makes people say, ooh. And so it makes us think it's happening everywhere. But that's what we have to manage and actually look at. Is it really as large as we think, or is it just incidents happening all over the world? And the world is much bigger than Cincinnati. And when you look at it at a grand scale of things.
Kevin won't come back on the show because of you, Alandes.
Huh?
Kevin.
Kevin who? This
Kevin
Kevin?
Gordon. No, Kevin Gordon. The guy
I
you
don't
said
know
you
who
thought
he
he had
is.
to put on.
Oh, you told, is that what he told you?
You talking about the Trumper guy?
The Trumper, yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry to
Won't
do
come
that
back
to
on.
your show. I'm sorry. You can let him know. I can make sure I'm not on with him, but
Oh no, I absolutely want you on with him.
yeah, he can
Absolutely.
listen. I mean, for him to, I don't want to talk to him if I don't have to either, because I think that he was just gaslighting y'all constantly.
No.
And everyone was just going up. When he called you uneducated, Kevin, you were so like, and when he asked us, should we even be out there protesting because we don't pass? And anyway, yeah, he can kiss. Yeah.
Ooh.
Not kiss. I didn't say.
I get it.
Yeah, I'm not worried about him.
I miss Kevin just because he used to get me so angry. Like Kevin would.
Oh, y'all
with the gaslighting stuff, that Alandes was, like Kevin did excel at that, and he would definitely get it popping on the show. Which
and he couldn't take it. And when I did it to him, like when I said I don't know whether they write your scripts inside of the sheet, like he couldn't take it, and it's like you just called us uneducated. And then when you start talking about Jeffrey Epstein, and I said the only person associated with that looks like no one on this call except for you. That was the truth.
Yeah,
he couldn't take it. That's the only two things I said.
That was the truth. That's the only thing I don't like about Kevin is well, not the only thing, but one of the things I don't like about Kevin is most of us on here, we dish it out, we take it back, right? Like if you know, whatever I put out, if somebody put it back to me, like I'm not gonna get in my feelings about it, right? I ain't gonna, but Kevin couldn't do that. Like, so to Alandes's point, when Kevin been doing that every time he comes on the show, he dish it out, and then he got a little bit back from Alandes, and now it's like, oh, I don't want to be on the show no more. That I can't respect that. That's like,
let me be honest. I'm hoping that Kevin is watching. I'm kind of baiting him. I don't know if that's the reason why he hasn't been back on. I think he's got family stuff going on. I'm just kind of messing with him.
I hope so. I hope that's
if
not
he happens to be watching. But we got Twin on here. What's up, Twin?
What's up, Twin?
Hey, what's up, man?
You out in them streets? Look like you out in them streets with that umbrella.
Yeah, I'm just giving me some air. I was gonna walk my dog, but this rain came down hard, man.
Them sirens out here, they ain't coming. They ain't for you, is they? They ain't looking for you, is
No, I think that was Fame. They looking for. Yeah, they looking for Fame, man. He got knocked out by that lady, man. He ran so quick, man. I thought he was gonna hold on. Hey, man.
He did get on rather quick.
Hey, I think these old people need to mind their business, man. To be honest, man, no disrespect. I wouldn't do it as a shorty, though, because I respect my elders. But sometimes these older people be getting out their body, Nate. I hate to say it, though. They be getting out their body, man. I seen something the other day because the lady got mad at customer service because they was closed. She cussed the little girl out.
Oh,
we lost.
Well, I mean, if she's an older woman, she can cuss you out, and you just gotta just take it and just move on.
Man, I ain't taking nothing like that, man.
We lost your video. You said you ain't taking.
I don't know what happened.
Wait. You ain't taking. So you don't believe in respecting elders? You want somebody to respect your mama, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, as me as a person, yeah, but yeah, I believe in respect.
Right,
I'll give people all respect. But some of these elders be out their body, man.
It don't
and then
matter.
You want these young people?
Take it.
I'm not taking nothing, man. You get.
See, and that's the
all right,
attitude
man,
right there. I'm not taking nothing. That is the attitude that is permeating a lot of this violence. I'm not taking nothing. You're not taking. She ain't hurting you. It's just words. Let her curse and move on.
Nate, let one of these youngsters come up to you, man. You not go take that. You can talk all that smack on this podcast all you want. You need to stop.
If
saying,
an older person is out here and I come in contact with them and they decide for whatever reason to cuss me out, they didn't cuss me out then. Okay, great. I'm gonna keep.
You ain't gonna do that. No, you not.
Exactly
quit doing it. No, you not. That's a lie. Quit lying, man. That's a lie. You not gonna do that. You go get it. You go get out your body, man.
I'm trying to understand what's old. Because all y'all gray haired men is talking about old folks. How old are y'all? I'm trying to understand, like, where's the cutoff?
I'm talking about me.
Hey, yeah, like, where's the cutoff right here?
You out of line for that, Alandes.
Oh, no, I'm just trying to understand, like, who am I talking to? Like, I just want to know. Like,
you probably, like the 76-year-olds and all that. I respect them, but they be getting out their body, though.
Okay, so what?
So I just can't do it, man. You try to be nice and all that. I respect you to the foot, but when I wouldn't put my hands on you unless I wouldn't put my hands on you unless
you got plenty of older people in your family that's been disrespected you, and you didn't do nothing about it. That's the same thing you do.
No, I can't recall. I can't recall that.
What I'm sad for you.
I can't recall.
Because that means you don't have a lot of relationships. I'm sad.
Somebody probably outside my family, yeah. Somebody outside my family, yeah. That was disrespectful when I checked them on there.
Great grandmothers don't got no patience. They say whatever come to their mind. Where everybody knows that they don't have no filter. They gonna tell you straight away, I don't like your girlfriend in front of everybody. You know that's what they do. Quit acting like you ain't never been around older people. That's how they get. You just gotta deal with it.
Some things you had a patience to deal with. So you address it like that, nip it in the bud and stuff. You don't have no patience at that time, but you address it right there because they feel like they can do it again and take advantage of you. So we gonna cut this off right now. That's how I see it, like that. So you try to cover up for these old people. I ain't trying to cover up for these old people.
I'm covering up for
man. Some of them be disrespectful, man. Hey, Kevin, you talked about the SEC and the fans and all that. I feel like, man, why NAACP and the rest of them gotta get in folks' business, man? Why y'all Democrats do that though?
Because that's what the NAACP does, Twin. Do you understand what they do?
Man,
what their organization is supposed to do?
Man, that's the mindset of the devil, man. Try to cause confusion,
So,
man.
Do you understand what their mission statement is and what the NAACP is charged to do?
No. I know confusion is what I see.
So you
Go ahead.
Yes or a no? Well,
Go ahead. I'm up in.
They represent black people's best interests, primarily politically. They tell you who is pro-black, who ain't, at least from their perspective. And they try to urge for a better political situation for black people. Long story short.
But don't take this political thing to no damn college and stuff. Since y'all don't want to get our votes and gerrymandering, that's all it's about. Gerrymandering and all that. Oh, man, I came to get an education here with this political thing. I came to get money, an NIL deal. Why I gotta listen to y'all NAACP? See what it was, man. Martin Luther King should have never had that I have a dream speech. See, he wanted to drink at the white man's water and food. Yeah, man, yes, I said it. He ain't had nothing, man. He messed up the whole black community with this BS, man. We never recovered from it. What leader out here today is representing us? Not a damn thing. The only thing they got you to say is vote. What the hell I'm keep voting for the same people for? Our community ain't never bounced back. But you see the Asian Arabs and all them, they got their own community. Where's the black community? Y'all talk all this nonchalant ass BS on here and other radio stations, man. Y'all ain't encouraging how to get money or build a set land or none of that. For real talk, man.
Man, you said a whole lot there, buddy. We don't have the time to really deconstruct all of that. Like, I mean, it's so many places
and all that.
Well, the good part is this, Twin.
Go do for what you say?
Yeah, I get it. Hold on. I was saying the good part about it is you're never. I'm sorry. Let me bring you back. The good part about what I just heard is that you're never too old to learn. You're never too old to learn. So you still got time to educate yourself about some of those issues that you just got twisted up and I understand where it comes from.
I'm already educated enough. I'm educated.
Let me finish. So that's the good part. You still got time to educate yourself and grow from this moment. But when I look at you, I have mixed emotions. Like on one emotion, I want to say bravo to the propagandists out there because they've had a real plan in place for the last 50, 60 years, which is to convince some black people that your vote don't matter. So they just give up and they get confused and they don't understand the exercise. And I can see that happen to you on one hand. And on the other hand, man, it's very sad that you have allowed yourself to fall down this rabbit hole with all this disinformation, which ultimately ends in nothing of any use to black people. But I get it though. So I'm not saying I don't recognize you. I do see you. I see it. I understand it. And that's how you feel. That's how you feel, man. But I can't argue with you about some of the things you said because you just, and in no way do I mean any disrespect. It appears to me at this time that you got some gaps in your knowledge about how this country worked and how we got here. So I can't even argue with you about it. But that's just my perspective.
Well, that's my opinion, and I'm not getting into that. I'm not getting into that vote stuff or none of that. But y'all need to quit using this Trump. Quit using this Trump rhetoric as a vote. Trump ain't got nothing to do with us locally, man. That's all y'all use as a traumatizing to the mind. It's Trump. No, nobody want to hear about that. Trump got an answer to the elites, man. He don't answer to us. What?
Hey, Twin.
Have your gas prices gone up, Twin?
Man, damn well every war and every holiday the gas go up. Stop playing.
So
go on with that nonsense, man.
So Trump has impacted you too. That's the only point I wanted to make. But go right ahead, Alandes.
Hey, Twin, I just have this question. So what's your solution?
We
did it. Let me ask
you. Know what's our solution?
So
you know what our solution?
This isn't. No, I'm sorry. I wanted to finish my question first. I just wanted to ask you, when you're saying that the Democrats did it wrong and Martin Luther King did it wrong, what's your solution for where we are today? Like, what's your solution?
You said what's my solution for what?
What is your, so based on, you're saying how our ancestors and people before us did it wrong. You said MLK was wrong. The Democrats are wrong. Voting is wrong. What is your solution for where we are today?
That man don't have no solutions. Why you ask that man if he got some solutions?
Because you let him on this call, so I thought he should have something. You let him on the call.
You know he don't got no damn
the people who come to the call have something going on.
Hey man, y'all leave Twin alone.
Yeah, I'm just responding to the fact. Okay, he's here. So what's the solution?
Solution is to let them white folks do whatever, and y'all come together as one. Quit doing this whole gaslighting the people, and then be transparent to the people. Y'all got to. We back and forth fighting for what? If that's my interest, who I voted for, let it be. But y'all keep pump fading the community, man. Y'all can't keep doing that.
Are you insecure about your vote? Twin.
Hype them up, but y'all don't hype y'all own community.
Oh, we're losing you, bro. I appreciate you though. Thank you so much. You're losing, Twin. You're gonna ask that man some solutions. You are
the one who had him on the call. You are the one who had him on the call. Between him and Fame, I don't know what's going on anymore on these calls.
We vibing.
So I just thought,
we just hanging out together. That's what we really do. We hanging out.
I guess maybe I stayed too long today or something. I'm like, I don't have nothing going on. So
listen, this is great. In the audience, they get a chance to, stay in here and hang out with us. We just vibing on a Friday.
Yeah,
I thought I'd bring them on. So
So now where did we find
Twin gonna go to the grave defending that Trump vote.
So he's a Trump supporter.
Yes.
You ain't gonna never get him off that.
Vote. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lord help our people.
Yeah.
But Terrence is doing a little better.
Well, Terrence told you all along he was never MAGA. Terrence always said he wasn't MAGA. He just said he was Republican, conservative, he couldn't vote. He couldn't get past Kamala Harris not being black. And them couldn't get past Kamala Harris being black, and them Somalians in Minnesota who took all that money. That killed his Democratic vote right there.
Oh yeah, and wait, the immigrants who took his job. We forgot about that. The immigrants who took his job.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I will say, the more barbershops I go in now, I see a lot more. The barbers ain't all black no more.
Is that right?
Cutting your hair,
Nathan. I just threw that in there only because I know Terrence. Because I know I'm gonna do that when I don't know if Terrence in the chat.
I'm slow.
I don't know if Terrence in the chat, but if he ain't hear me say that, I'm gonna hit him with that next time. Next time he come on the show. Be like, man, I'm noticing all these immigrant barbers now around here, man. What's up with that? He'll run with that.
Hey, I don't understand it, but hey, it is. We are where we are. Well, listen, thank you so much, guys. I appreciate your time today. This has been fun. I laughed a lot on this show. It's good.
Hey, that's what it's all about, man.
Absolutely.
I had a good time today. I thought we talked about
absolutely
some consequential matters. Probably did hang in there a little bit too long, but hey, it's raining on a Friday. What else you gonna do? Yeah.
You know what? Exactly. I used to think so, but this is good. This is good. We hanging. For the people that want to come in, they can come in. They don't. It's just what it is. But we are here. Or at least we were here. But we're about to not be here because we're about to close it down. So thank you so much.
So let me know when your cousin come on, because I don't need to be on with him. Your Trump.
I definitely want you to be on with him. I'm hoping some fire gets sparked off. Yeah, that'd be great. And I told him too, like, I'm gonna make sure that you and Alandes are on the same show, buddy, so we can get.
He said you are not a nice person.
you know who we got to get. Well, this is the foursome that we need to get on here, Nathan. Aside from you and me, we need to have Kevin and Phil and Alandes on. And man, that you talk about. Man, you talk about a ratings goal, brother. That would be the show. Because Alandes would get on Kev and Iris would tear Phil to pieces, man. I would sacrifice my spot on the pod that day because I just probably want to watch.
No, we need the voice of reason. We all need the voice of reason.
We do need the voice of reason. Although sometimes your reasoning, but we still need it.
Alandes, you was out of line when you came with the gray-haired old man comment.
Oh yeah, but y'all just kept talking about elderly,
You did
and I'm
not
like,
have to do that.
I wanted to ask Fame, and I'm like, you talking about eating healthy and old people? I'm so confused. So anyway, but those.
And Nathan, you was wrong for suggesting you that wasn't what I was trying to say about that woman not going into Tim Hortons because of her.
That's exactly what you're trying to say.
You know that wasn't what I was trying to say.
That was
rude.
Wrong
for that.
You
was
said
wrong
it.
for that. No,
like she didn't need that food like her.
No, Nathan was trying to imply that I was saying if she had high blood pressure, she shouldn't get herself worked up. That was my point. Not that she shouldn't have been in Tim Hortons getting chicken. That was my point.
Oh,
Nathan
so you weren't saying she shouldn't be a
Nathan
fair
was
food
trying
lady?
to make it dietary.
So I thought you were making it dietary too. So it was you who did that, Nate, not him.
Nathan did that.
Okay.
Nathan was trying to say that woman shouldn't have been eating chicken. I never said that.
Okay.
I just thought maybe that's what you meant. That's all. Or coffee, something like that. That's all I was saying. So listen, I appreciate you all the people in the chat. A lot of fun today. Really appreciate great comments, everybody. We'll be back on Tuesday and Friday of next week. Have a great weekend and have a great Friday.